Hey guys, it's Tampon Tim. I just want to let y'all know I won't be seeking re-election. I got a nice job offer from Tampax, to help them develop male tampons and shit like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that before all this Somali fraud shit blows up in my face and Trump sends in the National Guard in the middle of the night to arrest me and my crazy liberal bitch wife, the one with the crazy eyes. Anyway, we had a good run. Oh, and FYI, Kamala is an alcoholic and she's completely retarded. Toodaloo.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fun program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, aka Good Lawgic. I think my voice is getting not better. Not a little better. I think it's a little better. Definitely, it's not where I want it to be. It's not where it should be. It's raspy. It's not quite Amy Klobuchar type of like continually sounding like I'm doing Peter Brady singing Sunshine Day. Yeah, that's a dated reference, I realize. I'm realizing it now after it escapes my lips that was a very dated reference. But hey, if you know, you know. So I feel like I'm like a little bit, definitely sounding, I think, a little better than yesterday, but still dealing with this teensy weensy little cold. So anyhow, tonight, what do we got going on tonight? Oh yeah, well, there was this shooting. You see, there was this whole pow 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 thing that was happening in Minneapolis. You see, with some protesters, and well, one of them protesters is now dead, and accordingly, all sorts of things going on with folks being all a tizzy as to was this murder? Was it justified? You got all these different takes, and I definitely want to break down for you the legal perspective of it and the spinoff. Why is everything Minnesota? I'm so tired of talking about Minnesota. Hey, it's such a forgettable state. I'm originally from New York. This is supposed to be flyover country. And I know no one ever flies over Minnesota because it's too freaking cold and north, and no one would bother doing that. But the point is, it's flyover country. The same state every time. Every friggin' time. It's always Minnesota. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But yeah, I guess that's the place to be. I guess that's certainly all the people, all the folks who want to be social media, influencers are all flocking to Minnesota because that's where all the good stuff is happening. All the good stuff happening in Minnesota. Also, tonight, back in my hometown of New York, which I fortunately no longer live in, especially since it's under the reign of a crazy communist. But one of his appointees had a classic meltdown, and we're going to take a look at who this freaking lunatic is and what brought her into bawling tears. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it. All that and more. Plus, I screwed up in my goal. I normally have a normal goal. You know the normal goal. It's 15 super chats, yellow or higher, $10 or more. And then I basically give you some sort of little prize at the end. It's like the thing you dig your fingers into the Cracker Jacks box and you sort of get the little prize in there. That's what the goal is for. Right? That way you get your fingers all the way. I'm going to stop that. But the point is that normally that's what I meant for it to be tonight, and I hit something wrong. And apparently it says it's only 10. Only that's tonight's goal is 10. So it's a pretty easy goal. We should be able to hit that. 10 should be very, very doable, even if I'm being dragged down by a co-host. So,
look, man, I got arrested in Venezuela. I'm currently being locked up, being held right now. And I had a little bit of computer time. I figured I would spend it with you and my chat. And that's how you want to treat me?
I apologize. No, I was saying, even if I were to be held down, but not by obviously this co-host. In case you're unfamiliar, I am joined tonight. The first time I've seen him in several weeks. Mm-hmm. My recurring co-host who comes in here has been coming in here on Wednesdays for a few months now.
Yeah.
And that is our boy Cynical something.
It's stimulated cynic. I just go by Sin, so it's a
Sin.
lot easier. Yeah.
Stimulated cynic. I just call him Sin.
Yeah, it's so much easier. So
Yeah, so there you go. So we got Sin in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be breaking down these stories and lots more. So, but I should, just to not be rude, Sin,
Yeah.
why don't you want to tell people a little bit about who you are real quick in case they
Oh,
don't know.
I am a live streamer. I cover a lot of independent comics and culture wars stuff over on FFS podcast, and that's basically it. I'm currently writing 2 or 3 independent comics. 3, one of them's a secret one, and covering a lot of crazy shenanigans on the internet. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm actually today I'll share with you one more thing. One more thing, which I'm still trying to figure out what I did.
What'd you do?
So, okay, so I'm this really I should inform you find people this as well.
Mhm.
We streamers, many of us, the overwhelming majority of people who stream to YouTube and other platforms use this use the same platform called StreamYard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a service.
Yeah.
So StreamYard has this relatively new thing where through AI they help you create clips relatively easily.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, you know what? I think that's probably worth the investment. That I should upgrade my package, my monthly package, because they give you some service for free. They give you a little bit more money for a relatively basic plan that I've been using forever. And the AI made me decide, you know what? I think I'm going to upgrade. I think it's worth it if I can help generate more content more quickly and actually get it uploaded. That's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So I upgraded today, and the whole backstage now feels very foreign to me because they have all these new perks, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's like there's all these flashing buttons and things, and I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't even I see a number 1 by the private chat here, and I can't even when I click on it.
Yeah, I noticed.
I don't know what the heck it's. I see a
yeah.
whatever.
So the private chat now has an option. So if I go back, there's studio chat, and then there's private chat with just you and me.
Yeah,
Like I could just I'm assuming the way that works is
I don't understand what
this
I'm
is going to be
seeing here.
good for my show because I was covering something about these private chats and I need to figure something out with this.
This new private chat that we have. I wish I could. I wish I could show them all what we're talking about.
Yeah,
because I can't show it to you without it. It'll end up looking like ridiculous if I try showing it to
like
you on stream.
quadruple and double on itself. So
it'll look like you're in a hall of mirrors.
Normally, there's a private chat that is for the entire panel. So if you've got like 6, 7 people on here, you can all talk privately. Now there is a private chat for the group, the actual studio, and with Joe himself. So you wrote test, which means I could go in there and chat privately. So if there's something that I just want to tell Joe and don't want the rest of the panel to discuss, I can just send it directly to him.
Because I saw that I had one, and I asked him to forward me his links, so I copy and paste it, and I see that there's a message there, and I can't even find that message. So I don't know how to click on that
in the
one.
private chat. So what you need to do, I'm assuming yours looks like mine. You see that little arrow to the left of you, the left of your profile picture? You're in the private chat.
Yeah,
right? You're in the private chat. There's a little arrow to the left of you, a little gray arrow. Click that. That should back you out.
There we go. Now
you can go into the group chat and see where I posted my links. Yeah.
Look at that. Nice.
I like that, but that also, so we were covering a guy who just, how do I explain this?
I supposedly have a green room here. I don't even know what the hell that means. I wanted to put you in the green room, and I was like, I don't know where to find the green room. I don't know. I have no clue
where that would be. But no, there's I'm
giving StreamYard a lot of freaking money for this. Supposedly the camera is supposed to be more clear. Also, I'm using 4K now instead of this way.
Go to my settings and see if it offers me.
It's supposed to. This is like I'm paying them a crap ton of money now. But I'm like, look, if I'm able to like make more money because I'm uploading more content, that's paying for itself. Like that's the whole point. Now it's worth it to me.
That's very non you of you.
Let me explain something to you. Okay, buddy boy? This is the most Jew thing I've ever done. Okay. This is more Jew than getting a freaking circumcision. Okay. This is the most Jew thing ever. Investing money with the aspiration of making money is the most Jew thing imaginable. We make investments, which is, that whole thing. We make investments. You think
Sure.
what I'm saying is you with
Yeah.
your Shagets cup are basically sitting there thinking, oh, they'll never spend it. No, trust me, if it's making money, we'll spend the money. We'll spend that money. We'll spend that money real fast.
Let me
Real
ask you a
fast.
question. Did you search for a coupon code before you did it though? Before you upgraded, did you go and send Google StreamYard coupon code?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
See?
I was just like, take it. You sold me. Now you sold me. You're telling me I'm going to make money through it. Now you sold me. I have no choice now. So
yeah.
The
The problem. So is it supposed to like cut clips for you? Because I know that StreamYard will already do that.
Yeah, it's that's what StreamYard, but it's doing it that it's selecting moments that are significant, so it can help.
So like it'll show the peaks. It'll show the
it's
peaks
supposed to be like finding, like, if I rant, it should be able to find that for me.
Well, let me know how that goes, because that's been the I've got an editor that works for me, and finding like those bits that are like perfect and sort of seamless. The auto thing with StreamYard that they already have is a nightmare. It just segments it out instead of like finding those. So I just pay a guy.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, let me just knock these off here. You had a good Christmas.
I did, man. It was fantastic. Like I said, I had my regular Christmas, and then there's Orthodox Christmas for some people that I care about today, which was fun. So it's been a
What
good...
is
Orthodox?
Orthodox? What is Orthodox Christmas?
Eastern Orthodox, right? So it's like the Russian church and all that stuff. They follow a different calendar. So their Christmas falls on the 7th of January instead of the 25th.
Why?
It's something to do with the
12th day of Christmas.
Well, yeah, something along those lines. I forget. It's just I was just told that, hey, I have Christmas today and I want to spend it with you this morning, and so that's what I did. So
no, I get going along with the program. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I say, yeah, that's what your woman wants. You do what your woman wants. So you know, what do you? I get that. I'm totally down with that. I wouldn't mock you for that.
Yeah.
Too hard. But I'm just trying to just understand what the thinking is.
They follow a different calendar because of, from what I was explained to me, is our Christmas was taken over from a pagan holiday. So they do it on I forget what Saints Day it is and all this other stuff. I didn't do any research into it. I just said, yeah, all right, I got you. And I bought
I can buy stuff on sale now. Like,
that's basically it. So
I buy
Little Christmas is on
everything.
the 6th, so
everything's refurbished. I can give you a gift now.
Yeah,
this is
exactly. It worked out great.
The Jewiest Christmas ever.
Are you serious? That's what you're gonna do right now? You're gonna sling that back at me?
Just saying.
It is true, though. It is true.
All right. Well, Peas and Butter, thank you for contributing toward the goal. As I said, I screwed up. The goal right now, normally it's 15 super chats of $10 or more. I clicked the wrong button and it says 10 super chats of $10 or more tonight. I will honor that I will do. I think I put up for the goal of like have a call-in show. So at the end of this. So I am going to honor that, assuming we hit that goal. And even though, because it's my screw up, so I'm just gonna eat that. Wellesley says, in my professional opinion, you need to go to Minnesota, interview this Somali. Welcome back, Sin.
Hey,
yeah, I'm on it, Wellesley. I'm on it. I'm right there. And over in the ghetto, Uzalian says, Joe, what do you think of this quick, simple breakdown of what happened, showing it was legal? I can't do that first. But I can look at it later. But Yeah. Anyhow, we'll come there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Let's jump right in on that. In fact, out of the gate, let's do that story first. Let's cover that. Okay, so in case you're unfamiliar, I don't know if are you familiar with the shooting that happened in Minnesota today?
No, you had brought it up to me right before the show, and I hadn't. Like I said, I was trying to get a profile picture of me dressed like Maduro, but they wouldn't do it because it was a real arrest. So
okay, so ICE was conducting its business in Minneapolis, and this woman decided that she was going to try and disrupt that. And she used her car to disrupt the whole thing. And when she used her car to disrupt the whole thing, basically, well, I'll let you look at it. But I have to sort of pause it when the shots are actually being fired. Otherwise, I think YouTube is going to come crashing down on me.
Yeah, be careful with that. that new AI they got is
it's lethal.
Yeah.
It's lethal. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna watch here. This is the first angle that I had seen tonight. Okay. Oh. All right. This Lady Logic telling me that she landed, I assume. Okay, here we go. So she is in this car here. This Honda, this Pilot. Okay. Let's get some volume in here.
She's joining us now on the phone. Emily, it's Hallie. Can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Thank you for being with us. Can you tell?
Okay, that woman that's driving the car is unaware of it, but she has like less than 15 seconds left on this earth.
Wow.
Okay.
Tell us, first of all, where you were and what you saw.
This is her backing up. There's an officer crossing in front of the vehicle in just a moment, and he's the one who's going to end her life. Right there. Now I have to pause this here. She's basically about to hit the gas here. You know, if I sort of roll it forward, they're not going to let me. Ugh, dang it. You can see over here, you see the arrow that I'm doing, right? This officer is standing directly in front of the vehicle. She's looking to get away. She had been parked there blocking traffic, like parked sideways, and she had been blocking traffic in order to disrupt ICE activities. And eventually she realized that she had to move. She had to get out of there because whatever. So when she did, ICE agents come over to the vehicle here, and she first goes into reverse and then goes forward. And when she goes forward, she basically steps on the accelerator. And at this moment, she's about to hit the gas really hard. Yeah. She takes off. And when she takes off, with this guy standing directly in front of her car. Now she's about to turn her wheel very quickly to the right and then take off and hit the gas. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. We're going to do this as best we can. I hope that YouTube understands that no one should think for a moment that I'm glorifying violence. I want to make this 1000% clear. In no way am I glorifying this. I'm doing this because this is a newsworthy event. This is obviously a newsworthy event, and I'm trying to provide legal analysis here as to what happened so that my audience can appreciate the legality of this. But certainly, anyhow, with that. So that right there, you see how he pulled out the gun there?
Yes.
And she's already turning her wheel?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And the question is, where is he in relation to her car? And this is obviously, we're not straight on behind the vehicle to know exactly where he is in relation to her car. And that's a very important thing because she's turning to her right to go to his left. Okay. Yeah. She's turning to go up the road this way. And it's when you first look at this angle, it's not clear. It seems as if she misses him. And she's hitting the gas here as fast as she can. You can't even see what he's doing here. He is now sidestepped like a bullfighter, basically trying to step around it and firing
Standing on my
off.
front porch, was just making breakfast and I heard.
And he fires off there. I actually like the fact that they have someone on the phone while they're just showing this clip, because that is the moment of the shoot.
Yeah.
And she
I heard the honking
crashes.
and the whistles. My neighborhood has.
She crashes into this thing over here. That's one angle of this from one of the people who were bystanding. So she comes crashing in there and she's dead. What is the moment of death? That is perhaps something that becomes significant in this story. Like, is she dead now? Was she dead, when was she dead when her car collided? From the moment that she got, was it an instantaneous kill shot? Was it like something that, she died 5 seconds later, 20 seconds later, 5 minutes later? That's something, those are factors which are unknown and could potentially be relevant based on what ICE does after this. But this is the moment of the kill. So from what you've seen so far, do you think, I'll just throw this at you, legal kill or murder?
Man, it's a real gray area. I can't, I think it was a legal kill.
Why?
I mean, she was endangering officers around her. There was a guy in front of her. He was standing right there beside the car. There was other people. Yeah, I think it was a legal kill. There's no telling.
So is it because of self-defense or defense of others? Do you think he's
others?
Defense of others.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you this much. When it comes to self-defense, when it comes to self-defense and defense of others, is that there has to be an imminent risk of serious bodily harm or death. Which I think defense of others is probably weaker, because I don't know that there's an imminent harm of serious. It's the same thing as it would be for self-defense, but now you're not defending yourself, you're facing someone else. There has to be an imminent risk of serious bodily harm or death. And from what we see there, I don't know how. And it has to, and both, by the way, it has to be both subjective and objective. Both. If you're missing on either one of those, you cannot rely on self-defense or defense of others. Gotcha. So it means you really were at risk and you perceived and felt you were at risk. You need both of those. But if you perceive that you're at risk and you're not, you cannot rely on it. If you were never really at risk, you cannot rely on it. And if you were at risk and didn't realize it, you cannot rely on it. So now he's standing in front of this vehicle.
Yeah.
It's possible that he doesn't realize that she's turned the wheel. He just hears the car engine. Yeah. But let's say she had done that with the car in park. Right? So that's where you could see this playing out, where subjectively he might think that he's at risk, but objectively he's not. So even though any person would reasonably believe that they're at risk, the law doesn't protect you in that circumstance. You can't rely on self-defense in that circumstance. So that's basically, so I just want to make that clear here. And that's why if you look at this video, I think he might have a very tough case here. When you look at this video, do you think he got hit? We'll look at it. We'll look at it again. I know I broke it down. Let's watch it again.
Emily Heller, who watched this happen in Minneapolis. She's joining us now on the phone. Emily, it's Hallie. Can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Thank you for being with us. Can you tell us, first of all, where you were and what you saw?
I was standing on my front porch. Was just making breakfast and I heard the commotion. I heard the honking and the whistles. My neighborhood has had a really well.
Rewind it.
To here? Is this good enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
I was standing on my front porch. Was just making breakfast.
I changed my stance. No, I think it's self-defense.
You think it's self-defense?
Yeah.
You think because you think that why is it self-defense?
Because she cut the wheels at the I don't even think she turned as hard as she did because she even meant to. I think she turned and got caught on that slick road. I think he thought he was in imminent danger right there. If you pay attention, I would like to see another angle of it. No, I think it's self-defense.
Well, I'm going to give you another angle of it.
Yeah, because if you look, she's turning, and then the back end swings around to me like if you were sliding on ice. So I don't think if that would have happened, I think she would have hit him. Yeah, I think it's self-defense.
Well, he's saying, Joe, the guy that shot was at the front of the car, not the guy you can see on the side. Shot through the windshield first. Car was heading right for him.
Yeah, the guy in front shot.
See, here's the thing. And I keep, you know.
Emily Heller.
Let's play it again.
Who watched,
We'll play it.
apparently, who
It
watched.
looks like the guy in front shoots. That's why I changed my answer. I thought it was the guy on the side.
Yep.
So the
Thank
guy
you
on
for
the
being
side
with
walks
us.
up.
Can you tell us, first of all, where
Watch
you
out,
were
it
and what you
spins.
saw?
There's a guy in front right there. Pulls his pistol out.
Yeah, and by the way, so Heisenberg, I know it's not this guy, it's the guy behind over there, standing in front of the car. That's the one who takes the shot. So
I was standing on my front porch. Was just making breakfast, and I heard
he actually takes 3 shots.
Okay.
Very quickly. Pow, pow, pow. You can't hear it with this audio, but he takes pow, pow, pow. The first pow comes when he's standing in front. The second shot comes when he's on the side of the car. Now, I think it's important which shot ends up hitting her. That to me is a very important question, because I think that the first shot he has much more justification for than the second shot.
Yeah, I can't really see the second shot. So somebody actually just sent it to me on Twitter, and so I can zoom in on my my tablet that I got here. And yeah, the first shot, you can't even really see the other shots.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like this because I feel like without it, like maybe like I'm not going to get dinged by YouTube if I play this version of it, because you don't hear the pow, pow, pow. But the first pow comes when he's standing in front. This and like
Right
the other
there.
two come.
Okay.
So
And then 2 from the side. I'm assuming you can't really see.
yeah, I'll tell you this. Uzelian shared a. Excuse me, I mean to do that. Uzelian shared with me this thing which helps show the moment of the vehicle of the car's like thing, which this guy's an idiot. But
Yeah, I think it's self-defense. Especially on that first shot. I don't know with the other 2 shots because you can't really tell.
this is the second shot at this point. But this is the second shot. At this moment, I don't think he has a right to shoot.
No, I agree.
I don't think he has a right to shoot right here. Now, one can make a claim that he's helping protect others, but I don't think you can say there's imminent risk of harm to others. So objectively.
Well, I mean,
even if he perceives it, there has to be an objective risk of imminent bodily harm.
All right, so there's another guy to the right of him over there, right? There's an icy road. She is hauling he just shot at her. She could spin and hit them objectively.
Right. Right. If this
so
was,
I don't think that's subjectively at that point.
If the driver here was someone MAGA and they were trying to escape a rally, right? We wouldn't say that this person is harming someone else. We'd say that you wouldn't think that this person shooting them is justified.
I would.
I'll tell you right now.
I don't. But I don't play. I don't play that team stuff. Though.
We think we don't play that team stuff, but it's very hard to not. It's very.
But I mean, you may not do it, but I try to make a conscious effort not to.
The reason I bring it up is because I try to make a conscious effort not to. I'm simply saying that I'm still aware of my own biases. That's why I try to imagine. Yeah. That's why I try and imagine what if it was like that.
What if it was somebody else? Okay.
What if it was? What if the roles here were completely reversed? Would I say this is murder? And I'll tell you right now, if this bullet is the one that kills her, then I think you can make that claim.
That's a super gray area right there.
If this bullet that he's firing here is the one that does it, I think that you can make this claim. Now, I don't think in his brain he's processing that. I think his brain is all wired up because he's, he feels a car coming at him. So it's almost like, sort of like there's and it could be, and I don't know about this, it could be like the second pow, You know, the first pow is properly defense, and the second pow happens so fast that it's almost not fair to hold him accountable for that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like pow, pow, pow. So when it's like that fast, like, you know, it's really you're asking something inhuman for someone to stop and reset their sights that quickly to recognize that the moment of urgency is gone when it's literally 0.2 of a second later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's too fast for your brain to even process what's happening. So I think that's a very it's an asinine yardstick to hold someone to. But that does not mean that when you look at this picture here, I mean, this picture looks terrible for the cop. It does.
That second shot.
Here's the third shot.
Is that the third shot?
I think so. It looks
that third shot. Okay, now the second shot, great for sure. That third shot is, I would have to see a wide angle of if there was officers down the way, and I think there was.
It doesn't seem like there was. I'll tell you right now. It doesn't.
Everybody keeps saying you have to see the other angles. So,
you're gonna see you're gonna see the other angle. By the way, okay. I'm gonna show you the other angle.
All right. Yeah.
But let's just watch this one more time here, so you can see. I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. So I really want it muted. So, yeah. Anyhow. The LEO must take into consideration the hazards that may be posed to law enforcement and innocent bystanders by an out-of-control conveyance. Okay. And, you know, he's saying, Aaron Frischner is saying that they're prohibited from discharging firearms at the operator motor vehicle or other conveyance unless the use of deadly force against the operator is justified under the standards articulated elsewhere in this policy, which I think probably would apply. Where is this? Let me see if I can find this here.
So I'm assuming she got hit in the face. I would have to see whatever coroner's report is, and if that's the case, and he was just making sure, then yeah, I think it's fully justified in self-defense.
So DHS are permitted use of force that's reasonable in the light of the totality of circumstances. Standards not require LEOs to meet force with equal or lesser force, so you can use superior force. DHS LEOs do not have a duty to retreat to avoid the reasonable use of force, nor are they required to wait for an attack before using reasonable force to stop a threat. So these are other considerations. When feasible, what?
If that's the case, then he's fully justified then.
So they don't have a duty to retreat.
Yeah.
Which some people
can also
on the
use
left,
superior force. Yeah.
in an exigent situation, it means an emergency situation for self-defense, defense of others, are authorized to use any available object or technique in a manner that is reasonable in light of the circumstances. So they have a broader path of discharging weapons in general, right? Than you or I may have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they have a broader path than just the general police. From reading that from authorized use of force stuff I've read on other police departments and things like that. So hearing that and seeing the video, because I assumed the way you explained it to begin with, I thought the shot came from the police officer on the side.
No,
it came from the front.
No. Eisenberg was correct. Like, that is the guy in front.
So if that's the case, I think it's completely lawful. I don't think there's a question.
As with the use of force, an LEO's use of deadly force must be reasonable in light of the facts and circumstances confronting him. And they may use deadly force only when the LEO has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury to the LEO or another person.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly force shall not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject. However, deadly force is authorized to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject with the LEO as a reasonable belief that the subject poses a significant threat of death or serious physical harm to the LEO or others.
There we go.
So you're gonna say that her hitting on the gas is making her risk?
Yeah,
Okay.
because at that point, there's another officer on the other side over there, and as he's discharging his weapon, he can't know where that other officer is in relation to this car.
Well, he was
So-
closer to getting hit than anyone else.
No, well,
So
that's my point. So as she's speeding away, I'm talking about the other shots. The
he
second
fired all
shots that-
three. He fired
Yeah.
all three.
The other two shots that
Yeah.
that came after, where you're going, well, this is a gray area. This one is clearly, not necessary or whatever. I think at that point it turns into defense of others. So self-defense and then defense of others, because he knows that there's another officer to the right of the car somewhere, but he's focused on the fleeing.
Yeah, but he knows that the officer is behind him, further away from the car than he is, and not in the path of the car. So I don't think
I'm saying not at that time, not with the officer that was on the passenger side of the car.
I don't think so. I don't on the passenger side.
Yes, there was an officer on the passenger side of the car.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, if you go back to the video and you look as she speeds off, there's an officer to the right.
Over here?
Over there, yeah. So go back to play the video from the beginning, and you'll see as she spins, he steps out of the way. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
The commotion, I heard the honking.
Emily Heller, who watched
Saying this cop here?
I'm not sure if it's exactly that cop, but there is another guy.
who watched this happen in Minneapolis. She's joining us now on the phone. Emily, it's Hallie. Can you hear us okay?
But there is another person
Thank you
there.
for
And
being
at
with
that
us.
point,
Can you
he
tell us,
sees them.
First of all, where
He's
you
in the
were
front.
and what you saw.
I
Right
was
there,
sitting
boom.
on my front porch.
I don't see a cop over here.
It's not a cop. It's just a person. I thought it was a cop. To the right, you see the person in the white toboggan?
Oh, this
They
person?
stepped off from they stepped away. So the cop that walked around was the
Yeah,
cop
but that would not
got
be.
hit.
But that's again, you're coming on to subjectively. It doesn't meet the objective criteria.
How does that
they're
not
in
meet objective? If he knew that person was at the passenger side and now he's focused on
But that person, because that person was not objectively at risk of being hit by the car.
if they're at the passenger side, is they're fleeing and turning right? I don't think so.
The front of the car was past this person when they took.
At that point, he's not focused on them though.
Yeah, but objectively, that's why I said it's not just what your subjective perception is, but what objective reality is. You need both.
Okay.
You need to satisfy both. So even if you subjectively perceive he's in danger, but he's objectively not in danger, you cannot use defense of others. So I'm glad you're raising these points, because these are points that other people might be thinking also, and I just sort of that's why I appreciate having you here for this, because it's sort of enabled us to flesh out different thoughts.
Yeah. And so at that point, and also, I mean, I would love to know if there's more people around, because at this point, if I'm objectively thinking,
we're going to look at other angles. We should look at other angles, because you're going to
All
see other angles are more helpful to the police officer.
gotcha.
A car is a lethal weapon. It's technically in the law identifies as a lethal instrument, not a lethal weapon. A weapon is a weapon that you would call it's something you see it and you're like, that's a weapon. You don't look at a car just sitting in a driving way and say that's a weapon. But you look at a knife and you say that's a weapon, or a gun, you say that's a weapon. There's very little distinction in the law between a lethal instrument and a lethal weapon. So a baseball bat is a lethal instrument, even though it could be that means it could be used. It's an instrument that's not intended to kill, but could be used to kill. So you're correct, though. It is. I'm really arguing with you more about semantics, because I 100% agree with Karen here that a car is a potential lethal instrument. And I actually responded to someone on X who put a whole video to some stupid lefty who's always crying about everything that happens, and they were saying that this is what I was saying on X to this lunatic who was talking about breaking ICE agents. Yes, so I lost my place here for a second. I was jumping around to different things. Right. Okay. So they just shot and killed an unarmed woman. And I actually responded, she was armed with 2 tons of mass and a V6 engine producing 285 horsepower. That's armed. And then I pointed out that excluding suicides, vehicles kill more people each year than guns, a lot more.
I don't think that car is producing 285 horsepower though, Joe.
I actually asked Rock what type of car it is, and they identified it as a Pilot. And then I asked Rock, how much does it weigh and what's its horsepower?
Mm.
And they said it weighs 4,300 to 4,600 pounds, V6, 285 horsepower. So I was like, if I'm going to write this out, let me make sure my numbers are accurate here. So that's nice try.
Well, I mean, with it being a V6 Honda Pilot, that's crazy. It's a beefy little car.
It's a beefy little car right there.
Yeah.
It's not a small
very
thing.
dangerous weapon. So very, very dangerous.
Dangerous instrument.
Dangerous instrument. Excuse me. My bad. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
And which
So, okay. That was one angle that I gave you. Let's look at some other angles here.
Yeah, I wish we could, man, because my brain is stuck going with the subjective, objective. I think
the other
it's
angles are
something
from
that's
further away. The other angles are from further away. So
that
you're not,
last shot though is a little egregious to me. The second one, I don't think so. Not seeing after seeing their rules of being
Now,
a deadly force. So
this one is going to be a little bit more challenging to see.
gotcha.
In fact, I'm even going to I'll make us smaller so we can get like,
Yeah.
I'll make us smaller so we can see this bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right there at that moment over here, that is the officer's leg being struck by the pilot.
Yeah.
His leg is actually clipped.
Yeah, go back. Let me see that again. I just zoomed into our actual screen so I can get an even better view.
You can see it. I'm actually push.
Ooh, yeah. Done. Dunzo. Yeah, that's Dunzo. Yeah. Unload.
So she did hit him.
Yes.
The left is trying to say, she didn't hit. You can actually see his leg like wobble. And they say he went to a hospital afterwards for care. So that definitely changes things. But question is, can you take that second and third shot? The first shot,
think
yeah.
so.
When she's past him?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, she's already shown intent to actually cause deadly harm. I mean,
Or
at
at
that
least
point,
I think you can definitely I think that definitely qualifies as serious bodily harm.
all right, serious bodily harm at that point. So you've already proven that she will and has done that. And at that point, I think also, I mean, the way I know of, and I'm not a police officer or anything like that, but I have military family and all these other things. The muscle memory that I've been taught when I go to the range and you're doing self-defense stuff is, 3 shots, boom, boom, boom.
Right. I'm trying to just cover all angles.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm saying I'm going off of like what I know and my own objective view of all this stuff, right? But yeah, no, I think you have to take that into account too, or into account also. At that point, he's already been hit by the car. I think the first 2 shots are definitely justified. The third one, I'm still a little. I don't see. She's so far away at that point.
Yeah, but
I.
But if you're shooting at a dead woman,
Mm-hmm.
because she's already been killed by the first shot, that actually could protect him. You can't murder someone twice. So if she's killed on the first shot, I think he's good. That's my take on this. I'll tell you what my
Can
take
we watch?
is.
Can we watch the whole thing in full speed without stopping it?
The second one.
Yeah, I want to see.
Sure. Well, let's do it the way I had it before, so it's a little larger.
Somebody's saying 0.35 seconds, so I would like to just see where it's. Yeah. Okay. That's a.
I think she's dead from that part that she's still hitting the car and it's like her foot is still on the gas.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
That's what that noise sounds like, right?
Yeah.
You just hear this part here. I mean, She didn't just crash in, but it's like after she crashed, it's like her foot is sort of locked on the gas pedal. It's like she's still hitting the gas now. Yeah, I think she was still hitting the gas all the way through because I think she was dead. And if she was dead, I think that helps the police officer a lot. I
would agree that she's dead. Yeah, I would agree that she's dead 100% because if I got hit at that point, if I'm alive and I got hit, I'm stopping the car.
Right.
I'm just thinking, I'm all right, shoot, I'm shot. My mode of thinking then turns into survival, not escape. I want to live, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not going anywhere at that point. Where are you going to go? The emergency room? People to get you there the quickest is they're standing right there. So,
Lauren says the other part of the story is her wife was out of the car filming her. Yeah, that first video was shot by her wife.
All right, so it was the person with the white toboggan on that was on the passenger. That's neither here nor there. That's just semantics at that point.
If you look at the front wheel, you can see it spinning out before she ever turns right. He just did not get hit because the road was icy. Maybe. The point being that her objective was to try and run him over. You have to see how the other angle cop got hit. I shared that right. She was shot in the face. Joe, first pew winner. Ding. Joe Branca broke this down. You know who Branca is?
Yeah, Andrew Branca. Yeah, I streamed with him one time.
Okay. Did you see his analysis? You need to go to the video where he analyzes the videos. It was completely justified. What bull? It doesn't matter. Self-defense, period. Well, to say it doesn't matter, maybe. The reason it could matter is if this becomes a rallying cry potentially for the left. They're going to try and turn this into a George Floyd.
Yeah, I already saw a video of a guy saying that he wants George Floyd style action.
Self-defense law treats rapid shots as only one act. Oh, okay, so there you go. She's also a risk of the public speeding on ice. That's true. All right.
Somebody says already has. All right.
Let me see if I can find Branca's thing. I didn't know that he already churned out that dude's machine.
Oh, he's great, man. He's really great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's very fun to stream with too. No Type Bronca was a blast to talk to him and Ricade's buddy, his best friend, Drexel.
Right. Let me see.
What the? Wheels are straightening, wheels are spinning. Actually spun the wheels. Officer has his gun out. Bam, bam, bam. 3 shots fired. Get back.
You gonna show the video or you just gonna watch it yourself?
I guess I can watch it with you.
I know, yeah.
I need to see what we were gonna have here.
I don't know why you would just watch YouTube on your own when you've got a show going. You're being very selfish right now.
It's so good you're here because I would have watched the entire thing. I would have watched the entire thing. I totally would have. I would like, wait, you guys didn't like that?
You guys, wait, y'all have nothing to say?
What the? Wheels are straightening, wheels are spinning. Actually spun the wheels. Officer has his gun out.
Pop.
Bam, bam, bam. 3 shots fired.
Oh, yeah, no, he fired that third shot way closer than what I thought he did.
What was that?
So the third shot, because we weren't listening to the sound, you couldn't see the puff, right?
Right.
That third shot was way quicker than what I thought it was. I think he's clear. Because it was bam, it's moved to the side, bam, bam. So
yeah. I'm just trying to see if I can find him saying what Kimmy was saying here. Kimmy was saying that 3 shots in rapid succession. Was that them?
Yeah.
It was Matt Drew who said self-defense law treats rapid shots as only one act. I was wondering if Branka had said that during the course of his thing here. So that's what I was doing is I actually pulled up where I'm looking for the word act. I tried looking up rapid and I didn't find anything. But it is an act of domestic terrorism. I agree with him on that. So, yeah, bottom line is he's probably okay. That doesn't mean he won't face trial, though.
He will. I'm pretty positive he will.
Right. And the problem is that it's going to be a state jury, not a federal jury. A federal jury collects people from across the state, by and large, a much broader area than concentrated in Minneapolis. So you're more likely to get a more balanced jury when you have a federal trial than a state trial. He's going to be facing state charges in a state court with a state jury of people from Minneapolis. Yeah. And that can be brutal for him. That can be very difficult for him. Trump can't even pardon him from that.
Yeah, that's going to be very brutal. Minneapolis, well, Minnesota in general, with anything like this has been a nightmare for any shenanigans, if you want to call it that. Any things that happen, any sort of instance of this happening has been a major issue up there. And yeah, I'm pretty positive he'll face trial, but hopefully he gets a good lawyer and
hopefully he gets exonerated. I'll tell you right now, if this does go to trial, which I think there's a really good chance it will, this is going to be live streamed by everyone. We're all going to know his name.
I will gladly jump in on that with you. That would be a blast. I would love to.
This is something that we're all going to be live streaming to see what happens in this one.
That would be amazing. That would be. I mean, I hope everything. It sounds pretty morbid, right? To have to stream a guy, but at the same time,
yeah, I hope it gets dismissed. But when you're talking about self-defense, that rarely gets dismissed because that comes down to a question of fact. So
the only question I have with the whole thing would be that third shot. So if I'm thinking of it as as a prosecutor, right? That's the one that I would hang my hat on. I would work on the second one as best as I could, but the third one is where I'd really hang my hat on. That's where I would press real hard to try to get as not justified. But that's going to come down to the coroner's report.
Yeah,
that's what's going to make or break this entire thing. So somebody that's why qualified immunity wouldn't work here.
Qualified immunity tends to come up in a civil issue. But as far as like if you're breaching what your duties are, you don't have qualified immunity, as far as I understand. Self-defense law treats rapid shots as only one act. Look at Derek Chauvin, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She's also a risk to the public speeding on ice. That's a fair point for him to raise. And I'm mostly about, the risk to the public is a very subjective thing. And you tell me no one ever speeds on ice. So, but you have to sort of, the reason why I'm dismissing that is because by this argument, and I understand you're not I've seen other people making the same claim. And the reason that it doesn't really, at least with me, hold significant weight is because I'm looking at two separate things. So if you can tell me it's not about that she was there, but just that she's driving too fast on ice, that's the reason you have to shoot her. Ask yourself, does that mean if he's driving and he sees someone driving down the highway, so driving down the street too fast on ice, that he's justified in shooting that person?
Yeah, no, somebody said that earlier. I was like,
no one would say that. No one would say that.
That's insane, because that means that if you did that while you were driving in your car, they can just stop you and shoot you. That's the brass tacks of what you're trying to say right now.
Ultimately, that's how that comes across, which is why that's not a winning argument in court.
Yeah, no, it would just be hand waved away pretty quickly.
Right. She died at the hospital. More research next time. No, that's not good.
Mm.
No, that's not good.
Wait, she died at the hospital?
That's what Richard Parker is saying. She was shot in the face. Maybe she was shot in the face and died at the hospital. The question is where she was shot. And
Well, she could have been all right. So if she got shot in the head, she was automatically brain dead. That doesn't mean so at that point, she's donezo. You can't, ooh.
well, the question is whether they got her proper medical treatment also, because there are other factors that are coming up.
Yes, but hold on. Let me ask you this. So if she's considered brain dead, that's not murder yet. So your whole line of can't murder her twice now goes out the window.
No, because right, that's true, because she wouldn't be dead.
Mm-hmm. So, ooh,
Mhm.
I'm trying to process the way I would.
Here's a slowed down version of it.
Okay.
A slowed down and zoomed in version of the leg being hit.
Good.
I'll do it. We'll enlarge. We'll embiggen this again. I can never find
Yeah.
That's where you see here his leg getting hit.
Yeah, I still think he's fine. The problem will be the jury.
Yeah,
if he was anywhere else,
that's the most significant problem.
Yeah, if he was anywhere else, I think he'd be fine. But him being in Minnesota and all the problems that they had, the George Floyd shit and everything else that's gone on up there, like that is a nightmare for any police officer to do anything that is potentially a gray area, I would say.
Yeah.
Is the best way to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. I'll tell you that the whatchamacallit. I'll tell you that Derek Chauvin should be terrifying to whoever this officer is. Derek Chauvin is terrifying because, look, I watched that trial, as did many other people.
Yeah, I did too.
And there was I felt that if a jury wanted to come away saying that he was reckless and his recklessness led to George Floyd's death,
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think you should have found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but I can understand saying that that's a level of manslaughter that he's obligated for.
Sure.
But he got second-degree murder, which is essentially that he had an objective of trying to kill him. That is crazy. That was that was wrong. That was insane. And they just were like, whatever you're going to charge him with, we're going to convict. That's essentially what the jury came out with. Whatever you're going to charge Derek Chauvin with, we will convict. And this chick's name now is going to Renee Good is going to be something that they're going to start playing her as if she's saintly George Floyd. And frankly, if you ask me my opinion, I think the chances are exceptionally high that she and George Floyd are in exactly the same place, burning in hell right now together. But so I can understand aligning them, but probably not in the way that the left would mm-hmm. tend to align them.
Yeah,
only because they don't believe in an afterlife. But yeah, none of these people. I don't think for a second. I'm going to tell you what ticks me off about this woman. She's got a kid. She's a mother. And they're playing into the fact that she's a mother. She's a mother. She's a mother. What the hell are you trying to run a cop over for? Look, what the hell?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Why are you putting yourself in this situation? You're 100%. You're trading your duty. You have a duty. Okay. This is I was explaining this on Spaces, and I said it relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Every person spends their life building a legacy. You might not realize it when you're young, but when you hit a certain age, your actions all start working toward a legacy. Once you're like in your mid-20s to 30s, well, you might not even realize it at that point, but you're definitely building toward a legacy. What does a legacy mean? A legacy means your imprint on this world, which will outlast you beyond the number of your days, your revolutions around the sun. Now, that legacy can take many forms. For people who have a family, it's their offspring.
Mm-hmm.
People can have different forms of legacy. They can have multiple forms of legacy. It could be a corporation you build. It could be your reputation. It could be money you leave behind. All the things you leave behind after you die, that's it's sort of measuring what impact your life had. That is your legacy. Now, a healthy person is trying to build a legacy through their family. That's a healthy mindset. You have a woman who's a mother, and she decides to take it upon herself. She's got a 6-year-old kid whose father is already dead. He died back in 2022, 2023. You're going to pervert your life mission from making sure that part of your legacy, that part of what your imprint on this earth is going to be stripped away from this poor little 6-year-old kid. And now you're going to dedicate instead that your new legacy is being some stupid freaking virtue signaling activist, that's going to take priority for you, that you're going to sit there and put yourself in danger and to facing down guns because you have to make a whole big stink about how important you are, that you're standing in the way of ICE for some stupid, ridiculous cause.
Yeah.
Like this is so twisted, so screwed up. And I feel bad that there are so many people like this who allow the media and the left to gin them up into basically destroying themselves, their families, and everyone around them. This is why the left is a curse on society, because it doesn't just impact this dead woman here. You got a kid now whose life is screwed up forever because of this leftist ideology of like that she his mother basically like getting hooked on drugs. She got hooked on leftism. It's the same thing. It was just as lethal for her as overdosing on fentanyl. There's no difference to the kid. To the kid, dead is dead. So whether the mother was a crack addict who OD'd on fentanyl or some lunatic virtue signaling wannabe poster child, I'm such a good person that she put herself in the line of fire here and got herself killed. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing to the kid.
Yeah. Same outcome.
And so her mind was screwed up, and it's horrific. You want to know whose fault this is? The fault of Jacob Fry and Tim Walz and frankly the Brian Krasensteins and Harry Sissons of the world.
100%. Yeah. Without a doubt. They have gassed these people up into going out here and obstructing and doing these things when there's other ways. If you disagree with what Trump and what ICE and everybody else is doing, there are other ways to combat that politically and financially even, right? Like you could hire lawyers and all this stuff to help with these people. But no, instead they want to go out there and obstruct justice and then put themselves in the line of danger and then ruin the lives of their kids and extended family for what? For what? Yeah. ICE is still going to go out there and do their job. You're not stopping them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The difference is now you're going to make them shoot quicker. Just the way it is. You are. They're going to say, you know what? I don't want to be in that situation. The moment I see those tires spin and I feel I'm in imminent danger, I'm shooting. So
it's true. It's true. Let me do something here. I adjusted this a little bit. Let me see if this works a little better this way.
Sure.
I have a thought. Let's try it now.
Yeah, I agree. The rules of engagement do need to be revised. So
woman trying to mow down federal officers in Minneapolis is fatally shot. Homeland Security says. Let's check the video here. Let's go back to the beginning. This feels like a much clearer shot, doesn't it? Clearer picture.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you can see there's no one in front of the car over there.
Rewind that again.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's play it again.
Oh my gosh. He's the only one in front of the car.
No, I'm looking at something else. He runs back. Heck, that one guy fell. I was just noticing the other guy fell for some reason. That's the only shot right there that's a little.
Yeah, let's hear this part.
In Minneapolis, who DHS says attempted to barrel her SUV into the path of an officer. As multiple angles of the incident have emerged and gone viral across the internet, users are left divided on whether or not the agent's actions were reckless or in self-defense. In the footage, ICE officers order the driver out of the vehicle after she blocked the path of their truck. But as one of the agents attempts to open the door, she quickly throws the car into reverse before trying to speed forward in the direction of another agent in her path. After the vehicle narrowly misses the agent, he
Doesn't
fires
miss him,
3
it hits
shots
him.
before the car crashes into a white sedan parked nearby on the side of the street. Hundreds of protesters have gathered at the scene, which the city of Minneapolis has identified as the intersection of East 34th Street and Portland Avenue.
This is f***ing ridiculous. You don't protect people.
In the wake of the viral incident, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem described the officers' actions as defensive and called the incident an act of domestic terrorism during a press conference.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, however, furiously denounced this narrative in a passionate press conference of his own.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. And I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
He's such a tough guy. He's such a tough guy. I'm such a tough guy.
So I was doing some research about her being pronounced dead. They were doing CPR on her on site and kept doing CPR until she got to the hospital where she was pronounced dead.
Okay. So that's helpful.
Yep.
DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement, "This is an evolving situation, and we will give the public more information as soon as it becomes available."
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, they're busy scrubbing that ICE member's social media.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
They're scrubbing the hell out of that. They're scrubbing the heck out of that right now, which is what they should do.
Shea Eastman. I'm sorry, I can't get Joe to interact with the chat. He just I'm sorry, chat. He mistreats you guys, and I don't know why he does that. It's horrible. What you can do
Shia,
is
not
you
Shia.
can my bad. You can protest and revolt by hitting that like button though. That's what you could do. Just show him how much he should.
Mass shooting just happened in a Mormon church. Oh Lord.
Good. It's just all we need right now. It's the beginning of the year, and everybody's just what the kids call wilding out. It's crazy. Everybody's lost their mind.
I'm gonna try to check that out very soon.
Yeah.
Let me catch up on some of these chats real fast.
Go ahead.
Okay? All right. She died at a hospital. More research next time. Jade Schwelling says, "P.S. Local chat. It's working tonight." I don't know why it wasn't working yesterday. I started the same as I did tonight. Oh my. Jade Schwelbach going nuts in there. Joe. FYI, last night in locals, the chat was on, but there was no coin feature. Sorry. No soup for you last night. That's okay, brother. That's okay, brother. I appreciate you all the same. Second, when you search YouTube, best Jewish rap song, BLP Kosher Jew on the BLP Kosher Jew on the Canoe comes up as number 1. Really? You people got to do better. Let me tell you something. The best rap song of all time, not Jew or otherwise.
Aren't all of them technically Jew? I mean, if you look at just knowing the history,
And eventually Kanye will recognize that. Damn it. It's our freaking music. Yeah. So,
Basically.
yeah. The best Jewish rap song of all time was actually dropped on this channel.
Huh.
So yeah.
I don't. do you want to expound on that, or are you just gonna keep sitting there looking all coy and ashamed a little bit, like a little?
I'm just saying. I'm just
Joe,
saying that was the best rap song of all time, Jew or otherwise.
Did you rap for the chat one time?
I dropped a rap song.
Why? Why would you do that?
It was important. It was a public service announcement.
I'm embarrassed for you.
I don't know what you're
I
talking
haven't
about.
even heard it.
It was
And
amazing.
I've got goosebumps of just how embarrassed I am right now.
I've played it once or twice. If we make enough money tonight, I'll share it tonight. If we make enough money, I'll share.
Secondhand embarrassment is so real right now.
You shouldn't be embarrassed. It was a phenomenal song. It was.
You know what? I'm going to trust.
I wrote, produced, and performed. Every element to that song, and it kicked ass.
What is?
I'm sure there are folks in the chat who would say it's the greatest rap song ever.
I'll trust, but I will verify also.
This is something that a lot of morons on the left are saying, which I'm surprised you're saying, Paulie D. There was a clip where this guy's saying, "I'm a doctor. Let me see if she's got a pulse." It's like, dude, we don't need to have some person who claims that they're a doctor come in here.
I don't think you can do that.
We're in the middle of doing CPR. I don't need to have some third party coming in here. This is the stupidest thing that the left is trying to throw out there, that I'm embarrassed for you, Paulie, that you're throwing this out there.
Well, police officers are trained in life-saving techniques.
Yeah, so it's like, let me see if she's got a pulse. We know what we're dealing with here. We see what we're dealing with. I mean, the fact that they didn't want to have someone who claims to be a doctor go over to her is retarded.
Wouldn't that be negligent, though? Right? If you
it's potentially,
yeah.
I'm gonna let some person who says they're a doctor. I don't know anything about them. For all I know, they're a freaking tree doctor. I don't know what the hell they are. It could be some nosy Nancy who sees that this is, this is a serious deal that's going on here and says, "I'm a doctor. Let me check her pulse."
Yeah. Hey, I'm just some rando. Is what I am. Let me check this lady's pulse. Oh, no.
I don't think that most doctors would say, "Let me check her pulse."
No.
I think like, "Let me treat her.
Let me try to save her life.
Let me save her life." Yeah, they wouldn't say, "Let me check her pulse." What the hell is that? I don't. So you're saying it's like the lamest thing that a doctor would ever say. So yeah, someone let me check her pulse. I'm a doctor.
Also, I don't think a doctor.
Paulie, sometimes you just want to say, Paulie, sometimes you got some good ones. I'm embarrassed for you that you fell for this leftist talking point, which sounds so stupid. I expect more from you, brother. I don't know, what is this? This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. You know how he was just saying he's embarrassed for me. I'm embarrassed for you that I see this in the chat.
It's a domino effect. He says, you don't need to be a doctor to perform CPR, Joe. But that's the point. All police officers are
exactly.
Techniques.
So he's just doing CPR. These officers can do it too. So why would you trust some idiot you don't know to do it? Oh
yeah, I did pull up. I looked on my phone. There was a shooting in Salt Lake City. The chat keeps bringing that up. 8 people.
It was not "Hey Jude" by the Beatles.
Hey, wait, is it not?
No,
I've been singing.
It's not called Jeannie Joe.
I've been singing it wrong for years. Then, oh no,
Dahlia Renegade, my brother. How are you? Yeah,
I've got some apologies I need to make.
Anyway, so there's one more I had over in locals, by the way. It's J.H. Schwalbeck says, "Hey guys, it's easy. Cop says get out of the car. You stop, get out of the car.
Yeah.
No shooty shoot. FAFO.
Yeah.
You tell him, JH. You tell him. It's
you already hindered them because now they're having to you already hindered them because now they have to deal with you, which means they're not able to do the stop that they need to do, which gives that person a chance to get away or whatever they're going to do. There's no point in risking your life at that point.
Hands One Pack says, "Joe, you're cheap. What happened? First a new car, now upgraded StreamYard. Trust me, you don't know how painful it was to make that first payment on StreamYard today. I was like, no, come on, you're supposed to.
You just said you did it on purpose, and that's how Jewish you were because it was such an investment.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, wait, hold up. Now, were you lying then, or are you lying now? Which one was it?
What I'm saying is, I'm not a good enough Jew. Hands one pack says only saving grace is he's federal officer, so we'll get removed to federal court. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. If tried in Minnesota, we have two examples: Floyd and the Minnesota cop that stated her gun for a taser. I think Hands one pack is correct. That's actually amazing for him. That's amazing for him. Okay. Jonathan says second and third shots covered under Barnes versus Felix 145 Supreme Court 1353 from 2025. I'm not familiar with that particular case. Barnes versus Felix. Let me just throw that. Let's see if Google has a. It's a Supreme Court decision that I haven't looked at, but I assume it means that multiple shots, you're not going to get hit. It's considered like one, which is how it should be. On the basis that I was explaining earlier, that if they happen in rapid succession to each other, you can't hold a person accountable if they didn't alternate their mind thinking fast enough. Shia says most died at the hospital. Technically, Charlie Kirk died at the hospital. It's a great point.
Yeah, that's
a great point. Bronca says he likely won't face state trial, federal agent, federal duty, enforcing federal law. Yeah, no, I think I stand corrected. I think that chat that was sent to me was correct, and I was mistaken for thinking state court. I on reflection, I'm like, no.
Wow. So you were giving me false information.
If you point out that he was a federal agent doing his federal duty, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Sometimes, man. You sometimes, Joe, I think you ought to just hit go live and let the chat just do the thinking for you.
It's not a bad idea.
Then you
Frank Video talks about state court jurisdictions at 53 minutes and 05 seconds. He seems convinced the state cannot prosecute. I think I'm going to go along with that. I'm going to go along. Like my gut says that if they try, it would be state law, but in federal court. The key distinction is he would have a federal jury. So it would be state law in federal court.
Yeah.
So that happens all the time, where you basically apply a local state law because it's not a violation of federal law, and you basically we move to federal court. Good mothers don't go out obstructing federal agents to make viral videos with their wife. This is true. Fort Sumter next exit FAFO. I support Trump and ICE, but it's pretty clear she didn't try to run him over. She also waves ICE to pass her before they approach the car. This is bad. So what I'm saying is she hit him and she was accelerating and she hit him. So I don't think it's that bad. I think this is a lawful kill. The baby oil was kosher. It was.
You got to keep kosher baby oil around. You never know who's going to come to the Diddy party.
You never know. Mm-hmm. No, Joe. Tom McDonald featuring Ben Shapiro, best Jew rap.
I don't.
You know what?
Mine. I was about to say I can't go with you on that one, man.
You haven't seen mine?
I would rather listen to Joe any day of the week. Not even hearing him yet.
You haven't seen mine.
Yeah.
If I get $100 super chat tonight, I'll share it out with you guys. Just one. No, saw the prompt, review the video, answer. Officer was justified. Was it crappy? Yes. Tim Walz and others are teeing up people who already want to riot. Yep. Hey, he's in the chat here. The only thing missing from Minneapolis is napalm. I'm gonna send you a link, brother. I don't know if you want to pop in here or not. I'd love to have you pop in here and talk with me your thoughts about this. Which I started peeking at your video.
Just you and you alone too, which was
But I'd love to pick your brain about some of these different elements that have crossed my mind about this. So I'm going to send you a link. If you're able to pop in, you don't have to stay the whole time. Just pop in for a little bit. That would be awesome. But if you can't, I totally understand, and I'll hook up with you another time. We'll do the whole the whole stream sharing thing at a different time when it works for you. Let me go to Lost and Jabranka. I'll send it to you on. I'll send it to you over on X. All right, that's been sent. So the band Spirit recorded Hine Matov. Mike Bloomfield did I'm Glad I'm Jewish. Check it out. Okay. Mike Bloom. I don't know if I want to check that out tonight, but Brian Oldenkamp, he comes in here. He's like, I'm not going to give you $100, but I'm going to give 20 Good Lawgic memberships.
Hey, there you go. Welcome to the goal.
I should really count that.
Should you? I think so.
I think I should count that. I think that should count.
That's not very Jewish of you, though, to be honest, though.
Well,
are we working on that tonight? I'm just, you had made.
I'll tell you, I gotta give another horn. Because I just looked over in Rumble. And I saw over in Rumble land, Viola popped in here. Here's your chat. Play your song.
Oh no!
Horn for the Diggers. I'll give the Diggers another horn here. All right. You want the song that bad? I'll play the song.
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
It's the greatest Jewish rap ever.
I don't like the look in your eyes, to be honest.
When have you ever liked the look in my eyes?
No, I never. Actually, you make a very, very solid point there.
Thank you. Thank you so long ago, Picture Stream, for rating me over in the ghetto. And Joe Uzelian says, Joe, good luck for them arresting him. I don't know what, I'm not sure what you shared with me. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. Andrew Branco, law of self-defense. How
is it
are
okay?
you?
I'm casual. I don't have a tie.
That's okay. No tie, Branco. Everyone knows is the best Branco.
Yes, best Branco. I agree.
How are you doing, my brother? Happy New Year. It's still close.
It's been a long day.
I imagine so, but this is like your between you and me, and really no one else is watching.
Nobody.
When an incident like this happens, that you know this is going to be like a viral thing, does a part of your appetite get really whetted? Like you're like, this is going to be a fun day for me.
Well, they kind of come in two flavors, right? There are cases where there's ambiguity, where you can really do kind of a detailed analysis and provide insight. And then there's cases like this, where the answer is obvious, and it's just a bunch of left-wing liars making bullshit up.
Okay.
There's no ambiguity here.
Walk me through. Let's assume he had not been hit. Let's assume that he had not been clipped in the leg. Right? Walk me through why it is that there's no question that this is a lawful kill.
Because all that's required is that he had a reasonable perception, not a correct perception, but a reasonable perception that he was facing a threat of imminent, unlawful, deadly force harm. And a prosecutor would have to disprove that beyond any reasonable doubt. And on these facts, I just don't see that.
Okay, so my question for you is this. Doesn't it have to be both objective and subjective?
Sure.
So if he's not objectively in any sort of reasonable risk of harm, when he's firing the second shot, you agree with me that he's not at risk of harm at that point, right?
Well, I'm not sure I would agree, but for purposes of argument, let's presume that's the case. There are time delays when people in stressful situations are making use of force decisions. It takes time to make the decision to use force. It takes time to stop using force. It's very common for later shots to be fired at moments where you might not have fired the first shot then, but you're already using defensive force, and it takes time for any normal human to stop. We don't expect our law enforcement officers to be, robotic machines that make perfect decisions on a frame-by-frame basis. I mean, if we demanded that, then I would say, all right, well, then the driver here should just have dodged the bullets.
Right. Why don't you go Neo on us and just start?
Right.
Yeah. No,
It's
that,
not. He didn't fire a round into the side of the car 4 minutes later. This was
Right.
one continuous series of shots.
right. So, and I think that someone referenced the case of Barnes v. Felix, which I think they're claiming stands for that proposition. That that as far as whether the I don't know if you're familiar with that particular case or not, which basically this is a 2024 decision of Barnes v. Felix, but I haven't looked at it myself. Someone mentioned
Supreme
it.
Court.
Yeah.
Are they quoting Kavanaugh?
Who you saying who issued?
I mean,
the
I read a
decision?
lot of these cases. I got to confess, I can't keep all of them in my instant memory, but
It's actually
Kavanaugh did. It's who?
Kagan delivered the opinion for a unanimous court. Kavanaugh filed a concurring opinion in which Thomas Alito and Barrick joined.
Oh, okay. I think the quote I'm most familiar with in that case is a Kavanaugh quote where he says, "Hey, if a cop starts shooting because there's a deadly threat, he can keep shooting until the threat is neutralized."
Right.
But I'm not sure what you're looking at.
Right. Well, this is Barnes v. Felix. Like I said, I only heard of this case 20 minutes ago because someone sent me a super chat referencing it. But this is the case over here, Barnes v. Felix, and it make this a little larger so you can actually see it. But it was actually decided in 2025, and it was held to claim that law enforcement officer used excessive force during a stop or arrest is analyzed on the Fourth Amendment, which requires force deployed be objectively reasonable from the perspective of a reasonable officer at the scene. Citing Graham v. Connor, the inquiry into the reasonableness of police force requires analyzing totality of circumstances.
Is this a criminal or a civil case? I bet it's a civil case, right?
Well, it has to be, right? Barnes v. Felix, right? That would be
right.
Yeah,
That's got to be civil.
It's so funny because all these Graham versus Connor, Tennessee versus Garner, all these cases, they're all civil cases. And I've seen, and it's different, as you know, and I've seen criminal prosecutions involving police where the judge will not allow these cases to be argued.
Right. Right.
Because they're not criminal prosecutions.
Okay.
Right. And I'll tell you something else. We're going to be more favorable to the victim in a civil case than we will in a criminal case, obviously. You're going to give the criminal defendant every benefit of the doubt that you may not give him as a civil defendant. So if you have something that favors a civil defendant, all the more so, it would certainly favor a criminal defendant.
And the cop is not a civil defendant. So in all these cases, the cop has already been dismissed from the case on the qualified immunity. It's
Right.
the department getting sued. It's the city getting sued.
Right.
It's the police commissioner getting sued, in his official capacity. So there's no human there. This is just a money transfer game. This is how Benjamin Crump makes his money. These are not, Section 1983 cases. This is completely different than when a police officer is trying to not spend the rest of his life in jail.
Okay.
Right. So you're saying that you think that there's no way that do you think he's going to face trial?
No. Where would he face trial?
Well,
Who would
the reason-
prosecute him?
Well, let's say a state prosecutor decides that they want to
No
go
way.
after him.
No, it would just be dismissed by a federal judge.
So
This
it's
was
gonna
a
go
federal
federal.
law enforcement officer in the conduct of his official federal duties. The supremacy clause is going to move this right into federal court, and the DOJ is not going to prosecute this guy.
Well, that's my question. So if the state is, I know this happens all the time in civil law, and I'm too new in learning criminal defense and criminal law to really know the answer to this question. If the state were to bring a case in state court, right? They say we want to charge you with murder the same way the same way they charged Derek Chauvin, the same department, that's the same Hennepin County department.
Of course, Chauvin was not a federal officer.
No, I understand that.
Yep.
So they would come in there and they say, we want to charge this officer with murder.
Right.
Now his defense comes in there and says, I'm a federal officer doing my federal duty, and you have to charge me in federal court. So now, when it gets moved to federal court, I would assume, and I could be mistaken, if I am, please correct me. I would assume that the district attorney for the county of Hennepin would be authorized to bring it in federal court. They brought it in state court and now it moves to federal court.
No.
It doesn't have to be the DOJ.
So what
there.
would happen is
it's not a federal crime.
They would start
It's a
to
state
prosecute him in state court under state law, and he would file in federal court to get it moved to federal court. And the argument would be, if I'm going to be prosecuted, it has to be by the Department of Justice, not by the state of Minnesota because I'm a federal officer acting in the conduct of my duties for the federal government. I'm an agent of the federal government. I cannot be prosecuted by the state of Minnesota for my official conduct. So the Department of Justice would have to prosecute him in federal court. Trump's Department of Justice is not going to do that.
Right.
But what shenanigans can be pulled there to try to keep it in state, though? Because it's Minnesota, and Minnesota is a
federal judge is going to make the decision.
Okay.
So I guess it's possible that there could be a federal judge in the district that would be a left winger and would just decide. But he's not going to transfer it. It would just be appeal. It has to be transferred.
It would still be appealed, but they would still want to do a show trial for him because it's Minnesota. It's a mess.
There's no way it's going to happen. There's no way. It would be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court. Here. There's no way the federal government can exist in a world in which any left-wing city among the 50 states in the United States can start prosecuting every FBI agent, every DHS agent, every federal agent who ever shoots somebody. That's not going to happen.
I agree. But I'm saying it would eventually end in him not getting prosecuted. But there is a chance that he would still have to do a show trial.
No, there won't be a trial. That's what
no. I'm saying I'm just playing devil's advocate because of what it being where it happened at and the way Minnesota has been with George Floyd and everything else. And I know those weren't federal.
They could charge him. They could indict him. They could tell him he's going to trial, and he'll never end up in court, not in state court.
Okay, yeah.
And you're telling me that the state prosecutor wouldn't have jurisdiction to continue that prosecution in federal courts?
Correct.
Okay. Are you sure? Are you sure about that, or that's your inkling?
I'm pretty sure.
Because I don't know. I'm like I could.
Yeah, I'm a dumb real estate agent, so I definitely don't know.
No, so I'm saying is I'm not sure because I wouldn't be sure about that. But here's the scenario.
But here's the thing, Joe. These things don't happen in the real world, right? So we're kind of in another space here. Right? It's not normal for this to happen. When federal law enforcement officers are being prosecuted in state court, it's for DWIs, it's for drug dealing, it's for homicides, it's for things that are clearly outside the scope of their federal conduct.
Right.
Okay? We're in a new world here where there's even a prospect of a state prosecutor saying, I'm going to prosecute a federal police officer for shooting someone who was driving a car at them because it's a politically charged event.
Right. Yeah, no, and you know that they're going to want to the same way they were looking to throw the book at Derek Chauvin. They're going to be looking to throw the book at this guy.
Well, they're going to talk about it endlessly. That's only an upside for them, right? They're telling their team, "Don't worry, we'll get this guy." They're going to talk about it a lot. You asked me about what would actually happen. I mean, the political rhetoric is a different question,
right? The thing is, in theory, the next time a Democrat ends up winning office, couldn't they bring it at that point?
Well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If a Democrat wins office, it's all over. Everyone will get prosecuted.
But I'm just saying, whenever that happens, one day, whether it's 3 years from now, 7 years from now, 11 years from now, it could be 21 years from now.
Right.
That in theory, they could bring the case against him at that point in time.
I mean,
a different federal government.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we're looking at the same sort of scenario like Ruby Ridge here. Right, where it's a federal officer acting in their line of duty. So, yeah, okay.
What I'm saying is, this officer is going to have this hanging over his head his entire life. In a certain way, if it gets brought and dismissed, he might be better off in that sense. Like, maybe he'd have a double jeopardy type of thing. He'd be insulated from being prosecuted by some leftist down the road. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if it gets brought and it gets dismissed, I think in that sense, he might actually be more insulated. And I'm looking long term for this individual, the rest of this individual's life.
Let's say he does get prosecuted and loses, then he could be pardoned.
Oh, that's a great thought. That's actually a great thought. I'm sorry.
Well,
I just want
you're welcome.
follow up on. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I was just going to say, I would hope that should Trump, not lose election, but whoever his replacement is, lose election, and a Democrat were coming in, we have weeks knowing someone's going to be sworn in who's a Democrat. I would like to think that Trump's last action would be to simply pardon everybody.
Preemptively
pardon 5 million people.
Well, like Biden did. I mean, in all honesty, like Biden did.
Jimmy Carter pardoned every Vietnam draft dodger with a snap of his fingers. Just pardon everybody.
Yeah, but I actually think you're making a great point. If you're saying this can only be brought in federal court, which which you sold me on that. So in that case, he could be pardoned by the president. In which case, when Trump is leaving office, he can. I mean, we can talk about the prospect of him pardoning you and me for whatever crimes that the left may want to charge us with down the road.
We're done.
but this is an individual whose name at some point will be known.
Oh, this is a political football. This is a massive political football that's going to be talked about for the next 2-3 years. Period.
Yeah.
And even after that,
now
if he gets pardoned. So
I will say this: if he were to be prosecuted, he's completely done. Because, especially in Minnesota, these prosecutions that are politically charged, we live in a very balkanized society today. People, we don't live and work and function, especially in the criminal justice system, by a common set of rules anymore. It's very tribal, and there's scientific research on this. If you have black jurors and a black defendant, and white jurors and a black, it's very different. White jurors, for example, tend to be very even-handed with everybody. Black jurors won't convict a black guy. I mean, they just won't do it. And I guarantee you, if we have any prosecutions over the Somalian fraud, if there's one Somalian on that jury, they're not going to convict. No Somalian is going to be convicted for fraud in these daycare cases if there's even one Somalian on that jury. It just won't happen. That's the system we've created. Diversity is our strength, and we're gonna experience it. And I can tell you, even 12, 13 years ago in the George Zimmerman case, there were people lying to get on the jury. They would say, I never heard about the case during voir dire. I never heard about the case. I have no opinion. I have no prejudgment. And the defense team was so savvy that even then, they found Facebook pages of these people. It was like lynch George Zimmerman Facebook pages. So they got those people excluded from the jury, and George Zimmerman got acquitted. But you look at a case like Derek Chauvin. There's at least 2 jurors on his jury who simply lied. Oh, I never even heard of Black Lives Matters. I never even, and they were active participants in the program. Right.
Yeah, they're at rallies and stuff. Yeah. And in fact, after he was convicted, there was one guy who there was a motion to vacate the conviction on the basis of his lying during voir dire.
And where's Derek Chauvin today?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In the Ahmaud Arbery case, the jogger case in Georgia, the McMichaels and that other guy whose name I forget. The jury's in deliberations, and there's people screaming for blood outside the courtroom. You can hear it inside the building. Yeah. I mean, we don't think that would happen here? Of course it would. So these poor people, if he's subject to prosecution, there's no way he can get due process of law. And my position on that has always been, I remember the Derek Chauvin case. They go to the judge and they say, hey, we want to change in venue because we don't think we can get a fair trial here. And the judge's response is, well, where in the state would you want me to move it? Because you're going to have the same crowds wherever I put the case. And the judge was correct. But the answer to that question is, well, if you can't give him a fair trial anywhere, the only legitimate answer is you can't try him.
Yeah. Yeah, let's try him. Yeah. And that's the most based answer. I still would have come back and said, just because there's levels of taint throughout the state doesn't mean it's nearly the same as it is around the corner for where the guy got killed. I mean, that's a ridiculous claim. It doesn't. That claim to me was reeked of a judge who wanted the trial. The judge wanted the political feather in his cap that he tried the Derek Chauvin trial, and he's like, I don't want to let it go, and I'm not giving this away, even though fairness really dictated that he be tried elsewhere. And that was the most egregious example. I started talking about this earlier, and I don't know if I really went all the way through on it. You want to tell me that Derek Chauvin committed manslaughter, accidentally killed him, was recklessly disregarded the risk to him. I understand that. I think I might have even convicted him on that, because I think that when you have police officers telling you, hey, we really should check for signs of life, and you decide to wait another 3 minutes. It was at least 2 minutes that he waited from the time the officer came over to him before he pulled his knee off and checked on him. So, other officers around you are concerned about this guy's health, and you wait 2 minutes.
That's not actually correct.
To me, that showed a reckless disregard for the risk he was in. Tell me why you disagree with me on that.
The time interval was much shorter than that. It was about 30 seconds.
From when he was told that? I think
he wasn't told anything. No one ever told Derek Chauvin, this guy's in distress. That never happened.
I respectfully, I disagree with you. My recollection of the facts is different. They didn't say he's in distress. They're like, maybe I think we should check on him.
Well, that's a different question, right? You don't know if he's in distress.
Right. Okay. So
That's
it's not
different than
assertion.
saying he's in distress.
Okay, fine. But you're already getting one person who's a coworker of yours, another officer who supposedly is trained in trying to understand whether someone's in distress.
Who was on the job for 1 week.
Right. Okay. But
And you're a 20-year cop.
my point is, it was 8.5 minutes. He didn't check if he was in distress. You want to tell me the first 3 to 5 minutes, that was a normal thing. Fine. Once another officer is coming over to you and saying, I think
It wasn't
we should
8
check on
minutes, Joe. For most of that time, he was talking.
Right. What I'm saying is, okay, I don't want to start relitigating the Chauvin thing. My point is, at a certain point in time, an officer expressed enough concern saying, hey, maybe we should check on him. And from that point in time, he waited another 2 minutes. To me, that showed a certain level of reckless disregard. That doesn't show an intent to kill him. To me, that shows a certain reckless disregard, which I can understand the conviction for manslaughter. When they got him a murder 2 for felony assault, I was just like, this is something that should have been dismissed before it even came to trial. It's asinine, but it displayed that they were able to find a conviction there when there's all the questions as to how he died. Did he OD? All the other issues. Was he inhaling the carbon monoxide from the exhaust pipe there? What was the cause of death? All these different questions which provided reasonable doubts. And you want to tell me that you're going to give him murder 2 on this case? That is a jury that decided that the facts be damned. We are convicting this guy either
There should
before
not
they
have
walked
even
in.
been reckless. Even if I agree, let's just, for argument's sake, I accept your interpretation of the facts. If there are a dozen alternative reasonable explanations for George Floyd's demise, you still can't convict even on recklessness because there has to be reasonable doubt.
That's right. Like I said, I could understand if they distrusted the defense counsel's doctors, experts, and trusted the guy who wrote the book, who testified on behalf of the state, and said, all right, we believe that he knows better than the others as to what his cause of death is. Whatever it is, my point is, given every benefit of the doubt to the prosecution and disregarding everything the defense said, you still couldn't get to murder 2. That's what I'm saying. It should have been dismissed before we got anywhere here. And the fact that they convicted him on every single charge, to me, was a display that it's just reaffirming what you were saying earlier, that when it's a political trial, you cannot get a fair trial. People are going to come in there too predisposed to the outcome before it starts.
Yeah.
It becomes impossible when you have a balkanized, tribalized society. People are not working by the same rules and applying the same standards. So it all becomes a function of, is that person, do you perceive them as a member of your tribe, whether it's political, whether it's racial, whether it's ethnic? You're going to make different decisions. You can't have a jury system in that environment. It just doesn't work.
Right. Okay.
And then what do? Everyone's left to the tender mercies of a politically appointed or elected judge?
Right.
That's the way it's been for a while. I mean, we've been balkanized for a lot longer than what people think we have been. So
let me just get to a couple of chats here. So Jade Schwabeck, all excited. Branka, yes, check locals chat, you whore. And that's because he sent me $100 saying, you bitch, I mean whore, here, rap me. So I don't know if you were here when I mentioned this, Andrew, but for one reason or another, the topic of rap music came up and Jewish rap artists came up, and I pointed out that I
what do they call Jewish rap? They just call it Jap?
It's just I guess
rap. that would be offensive too, right?
Oh no, Brock. If you look at the history of rap, it's all been ran by Jewish people.
There actually is a Hasidic Jew named Matisyahu whose concerts sell out, who does this sort of reggae type.
We're just going to skip over the Beastie Boys.
Are the concerts in the temple, Joe?
No, he does really well, but he's made a lot of money from that. But still, I actually think that I produced a rap song.
He's Jewish. He's a very good rapper.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there are a lot of people who wouldn't know that they're Jewish.
Probably a better Jewish rapper than you are, and I'm currently the secondhand embarrassment is getting a little too much for me. I'm gonna grab a shot of whiskey. Give me a second.
Right. So I gotta find it here in my.
It's the greatest Jewish rap song of all time. You don't have it just right there, saved it first.
I should.
You don't have it on your home screen.
I should have it here, but I don't.
It's not your ringtone.
It's not your ringtone. Like, what are you doing?
I've gotta find it. Hold on a second. Let me see where it is here. Let me
Also,
give me a
really
minute.
stop storing all of your stuff on floppy disk. There is the cloud now. You could just use that. Just letting you know.
I appreciate that. I'm actually looking through YouTube for it. Thank you. No. Where are you? It's not there. All right, now I gotta find this. It's gonna kill me if I can't find this.
Yeah, it's gonna kill somebody. Whoever, well, you're gonna get killed over that $100 super chat if you can't find
I've
it. You're the one
technically
that put that out there.
If you do the math, I actually, it was
200. Yeah, because you got the members. You said you were gonna count that.
That didn't count.
You didn't even run through the list of the people that joined the cult. So
I didn't even do that. I should throw that on you. Can you do that?
if I can find it, give me a second.
I'd appreciate it.
I mean,
Brian.
a real rapper would just do it off the cuff, Joe.
Yeah, I would just
freestyle
thank you, Bronca. I was about to get him with that. I was about to say, look, before I read these, you should probably just freestyle it if you can't.
Imagine if you had Kanye here and you said, "Hey, Kanye, can you pull up one of your raps?" And he couldn't find it, so he said, "Never mind."
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I wrote this song a very, very long time ago.
Yeah, of course. Forever ago, right?
Oh my God.
Back when we used to call Joe Gator.
Gator don't play no shit. That was a direct quote from Joe.
Oh my God. This is really, I can't believe I'm struggling to find this so hard.
Joe took $100 to deliver on something, and now he's not going to deliver. I mean,
I'm going to deliver it.
All right, so
it was technically, if you're doing the math, it was closer to 300 at this point.
Yeah,
but because Viola gave 100 also, and then there was the 20. Brian Oldenkamp gifted 20 memberships. So.
See how far back we can go. Yeah, it's already passed. I'm not going to be able to find them. It's going to be on your side on YouTube in your starred chats. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so Joe was really falling off on his Jewishness earlier by splurging on new StreamYard stuff, and now he's really, really, really being pretty Jewish by taking 200 for something he offered for 100.
They all knew. They were trying to show some love.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Joe, on a different topic while you're looking for that?
Please do.
So I grew up in Metro New York. A lot of my community were Jewish people. I never had any problem with Jewish people. I went to all the bar mitzvahs. Maybe they just wanted my money. I don't know. But I never had a problem. But apparently today, it's very popular to be anti-Semitic.
Oh, it's great. It's good fun.
Apparently?
Yeah, it's like the thing
Good morning. Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, we've discussed this several times. It opens a lot of doors nowadays. It's very weird.
There's a lot of money in it.
There is a metric ton of money in being anti-Semitic nowadays. There are literal platforms, streaming platforms that are dedicated to being anti-Semitic these days. It is insane. It's wild.
I think of all the problems America faces, and I just don't get it. But there's people I interact with all the time, and we might agree on 80% of political issues, and all of a sudden it's like the Jews. I'm like, what?
Well, I've been studying Joe for 3-4 months now, and I'm starting to see why people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes think like you.
Thank you so much, brother. It was really nice when you used to visit here on a regular basis.
It was those Wednesdays were fun.
Weren't those good times?
No, it's mainly a lot of money into it. It truly is. Yeah, I do know most of the platforms. So I keep an eye on that kind of stuff. But you take someone that sort of led the charge in modern times, which would be Nick Fuentes, and you see people like Candace Owens, and she realized, like, I could just go out here and ask questions and make hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, and just by offering a different alternative of history. And it's
as long
very-
as every other word is Jew, you're
and then what you got to remember, the phrase is "I'm just asking questions."
right.
That's where the whole phrase, like the whole market, is called the JQ, which is the Jewish question, right? So,
And listen, I'm not saying the Jewish people are perfect. I'm not saying people can't have disagreements with, Israel, for example, is going to pursue its own national interest. That's what any country would do. Maybe it conflicts from time to time with America's national interest. But this notion that every problem you have in life is because of the Jews, this is crazy to me.
It's very convenient. Like if you're able to blame, finally, oh my God, I thought it was going to take me forever.
I mean, maybe the Jews are causing me problems, but if they are, they're pretty low on the list. I mean, I've got a long list of people causing me problems.
Okay, I apologize that it took me this long to find it. It's been a very long time since I watched this. This is the greatest Jewish rap song, probably arguably the greatest rap song of all time. And this came out during the lockdown period, when right after vaccinations. It was really early in the Biden. You have to put your mind back into where the world was in early 2021. Biden had just been sworn in, and there was a new medication which had come out, which people were reluctant to take, and all these people were writing different songs, brilliant songs, phenomenal songs that were designed to help save the human race by motivating people to take their shot. And in order to be consistent with that, I created this right here.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe Woke from Good Lawgic. Some of my friends from my echo chamber have been putting out some pieces, bring awareness about the need to vaccinate. I thought I'm going to put down some tracks, some beats for you all, so everyone can take it seriously how important it is.
I love the
Make
microphone.
sure you all stay safe.
this is a literal narrative, by the way. I'm
Drop the beat for me, please.
You can't be talking in the middle. Just otherwise you may not
just hold it till the end. I got you. Okay.
Save it to the end.
I'm not gonna look at the screen though. I can't. I can't. It's so embarrassing.
I got your backs. I'll lay down tracks that give you facts about the vax. You think not being shot is cool, but you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me, fool. Something that Pfizer ain't their friend. But trust that shot or you meet your end. Don't want to hear no talk about bad corporation. They're going on the line just to save the nation. Ain't rolling out no bad vaccination. That's just gonna hurt their reputation. Take your shot or you're gonna kill me. And if that happens, I'll be mad. Take that shot or you're gonna kill me. And if that happens, I'll be mad. Whole thing started because of big orange cheese. He didn't care if you and me sneeze, but he no longer the White House resident. Now your best friend you can call Mr. President. Been on isolation for so many years, locked in our houses, living in fear. Some anti-vaxxers mock and they sneer, because they don't see that the end is near. It's all about science, don't be a dope. Biggest brains in the world are in on this show. Celebs all know it, and you should too. Fauci never wrong, he's Einstein, dude. Take your shot or you're gonna kill me. And if that happens, I'll be mad. Take your shot or you're gonna kill me. And if that happens,
There's one more
I'll be
stanza.
mad. The other day I was drinking Coke. Won't touch that Pepsi, because they ain't woke. Happened to hear some interesting folk. Got all riled up the more they spoke. One started saying he don't trust Moderna. He thinks vaccines are gonna burn you. I marched right up, said, I'm gonna learn you, because I got more swag than Tina Turner. Now, you got the choice. You wanna live to the doctor, your arm you give. He signed that day, and now we bros. I'll sing my song till everybody knows.
There's one more
That
stanza.
shot or you're gonna kill
That's
me.
called a
If that
verse,
happens,
not a
I'm
stanza.
mad.
Where's the bridge, Joe?
Shot or you're
Please,
gonna
God, I need to breathe. I can't.
I'll be mad.
I can't.
I'm the baddest
The
dude you
douche chills
ever
are
wanna
so
meet.
bad right now.
Last thing you want is a kick from my feet. But if you kill me, here's what I'll do. I'll kick you with my feet while I'm still wearing shoes. It's not gonna be karate where the guy's barefoot because he thinks he's a swami. I'm gonna be a shoe with leather sole. You think that'll hurt? I think you know. And if I miss, which I sometimes do, I'll take another swing with my other shoe. I'll swing my leg like an oscillating fan. Eventually, I'm gonna hit you, man. Take your shot or you're gonna kill me. And if that happens,
genius,
I'll be
that line.
mad.
I wish I caught COVID, and I was like 80 years old now.
And if that happens, I'll be mad. Take that shot or you're gonna kill me.
No, you look at that camera. You look at this screen. Don't you hang your head.
That shot or you're gonna
Don't
kill
you
me.
dare hide behind your hand if you did this to
I'll
me.
be mad.
I like how you started with the Jewish gang sign of $5.
I like how you didn't practice it, so you stuttered like I can't tell you how many times. I also don't understand why you had to make it a point that you would kick with your shoe.
It's gonna hurt.
obvious.
It's gonna really hurt.
You do understand that rap is just rhyming metaphors, right?
What do you mean? I had
literally
references to swag like Tina Turner. And how my foot's gonna be swinging around like an
I'm so
oscillating fan.
uncomfortable and embarrassed
And
for being
eventually-
here. You did. Andrew Bronca
No.
has a very large channel. He's a very successful man, and do you know what you just did to his reputation?
I am a very successful man, but I do not have a large channel. That's not
I
true.
mean, well, compared to me, you do. I've got 612 subs, but this guy right here just subjected you and
Well,
your
okay.
reputation to
I
it.
think now you all understand why I demanded $100 to play that.
Hey, I demand $100 for having to sit here.
It actually was something. It actually the objective was actually to be as cringe as possible because everyone was making.
No,
really,
don't you do that. No, it wasn't. Stop it.
No, that was the.
I feel inspired
was the
now. I think
joke.
I'm going to do a rap.
That was the joke.
You
The joke was
nailed
how
it.
cringe it was.
You nailed it to
And
perfection.
I'm telling you right now that I'm all kidding aside, the joke was just how cringe it was. But in order to make it like that perfect level of cringe, I did try my best at rapping. So
Well, why did you practice it?
oh, that was practice.
Oh no!
You know how many times I did that? My wife was sick of me singing it. It was yeah. But
Should have just freestyled it. You know, I used to be in a rap group, by the way.
there were all these stupid songs that were coming out. And I was just like, this is the gayest thing imaginable. There are all these stupid songs encouraging people. Why would I write a song encouraging people to take a vax? Just think about that for a
No,
second.
I get that part, but but your lack of talent was the joke.
Yeah, my lack of because I'm doing the same thing that all these other people have no talent are doing. That was the
I don't like it.
Oh my God, your chat is so funny, Joe.
Really, grade C rap, bad logic, bad.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, there's one here that says, if Branca's reputation can survive calling Farron a dead egger, I think he can survive
forgot you
this.
did that.
I mean, I think it's particularly funny because it's about me being funny, but
Yeah. That's when I started following you on Twitter. Was when you.
I
started
remember
calling people dead eggers. I
that was
thought
one
it
of that was one of the most awkward moments ever.
Whatever happened to her, by the way? Is she still out there on social media? Or?
I don't know. She actually I think she sold her channel at some point. I think is
You know what?
she sold
I
her
just
channel.
feel my reputation was also at risk because of this rap. I lost 2 subscribers after that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, no, I was very proud of that song. I thought there was a certain genius behind that song.
You know, sometimes you shouldn't be proud. I'm just saying that
No.
that song should have been taken and put on your mom's refrigerator and nowhere else.
everything about that song, in my opinion, everything about that performance is perfect.
No. First of all, the rap, the way you dressed was completely out of date for modern rap.
That was
Second of all,
part.
none of the metaphors worked. Third of all, I cannot get over. I'll kick you with my shoe. Yes.
You're welcome. Anyway, Yeah, so I sort of wanted to get to other elements. I mean, I feel like we covered the legal elements to this whole thing here, and I definitely appreciate you coming in here, Andrew, and you're welcome to stay. But I am going to be veering away from the legal element against more the political elements of this, which I hope you'll decide to stay. But if you,
I mean, I'm drinking moonshine now, so
Well,
might
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so eventually, so obviously you had all the brilliant people come out and give their sentiment about this entire thing. Yeah, Jacob Frey over here coming out, mayor of Minneapolis.
The Somalian, the white Somalian.
Yeah, I think this was from earlier. Was this from today?
I am increasingly concerned because of the chaos that is being caused by these ICE agents that somebody is gonna get seriously injured or killed.
This was him before. This was not him today. This was him in the that was him back before. The reason someone's getting seriously hurt or killed is because of you. You're the one who's encouraging people to go out there. This is actually the clip that I wanted. This was him today.
Self-defense. As an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
When did we?
You not
When did
want
we?
here?
When did we
Can we
what?
pause it right? When did we lose decorum as being public figures? When did everybody have to be like a WCW NWO wrestler type thing? Like, I'm a cool guy. Look at me, cuss.
Okay, you're not appreciating him for who he is.
Oh, I am.
No, you're
To
not.
me, all right. So his level, right? Hold on, give me a second. Let me just walk this out. The level of cringe that he's exuding is just like your rap song a second ago.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He is Joe Woke. He is trying to appeal to them, where he's basically he is literally Joe Woke. He is an incarnate. He's a living embodiment of Joe Woke. So that is what he is. And now that's why he's trying to see. And Joe Woke, what would he do? Of course, when I'm a serious person, but when the situation calls for it, I'm going to cuss like a sailor in order to show you just how genuinely angry I am. You think he genuinely feels anything here? Of course he doesn't. But that's how he sort of riles himself up and gets his target demographic to respond with excitement, like yeah, he's totally effing right. And what does he want? Brent will tell you what he wants.
Well, he's got skin in the game. He's got political skin in the game. He holds his political position because he sided with the Somalians, and the Somalians back him. I mean, imagine if you could side with a relatively small ethnic group in your community that's managed somehow, miraculously, to accumulate tens of billions of dollars, a small fraction of which they're happy to give to your campaign and induce their fellow Somalian nationals to vote for you. You're in office forever. Everyone's getting rich off the American taxpayer, and nobody there wants this machine to break.
Yeah, but it's not simply over here in this context. This was today after the shooting of this woman. What I'm saying is he's appealing to that woke demographic. He just wants them. I don't think this guy actually believes it. I don't think any of these leaders actually believe the idiocy that he's spewing out there. But he feels that this is a talking point, and I think that ultimately what he's looking for in this moment here is to gin up further unrest. Basically, it's got to make it's about us. And that we're the resistance against the federal government. We have to stand up and fight. He doesn't care if more people end up dead because of this.
Quite not at all. Right.
No, not at all.
If that happens, he's happier because it's another name that they could put on their wall of legends who were wrongfully murdered by Trump and his evil thugs. So this is not a matter of like something that he actually believes in this ideology. This is attempting to stir unrest. That's what he's doing from this position of power. He's
obviously, but the people that are following him are they lack any sort of self-awareness or intelligence. If you look at this guy and you don't see the mask that he has on, right? Like this is purely an act. I don't want my leaders coming out there and talking like I do. Honestly, like the
Right,
whole,
but
like
he's not your leader, though, right? So from his
Yeah,
perspective,
no, I get
what's
it.
the
Yeah.
downside? What's the down? He just got reelected over an actual Somalian. What's the downside? This is working great for him.
No, I agree.
Because there's no negative consequence for anything he's doing. There's only upside.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I'm just saying the quality of person that is looking at him going, yeah, that's my guy. That just, man, it turns my stomach
Well,
a little
I mean,
bit.
he's a shitbag. That goes without saying.
It's ridiculous, man. I just.
But nothing will change until these people start to get arrested and prosecuted and convicted.
Yeah.
That's it. And until there are negative consequences, this is only upside for them.
Well, I'll tell you on that Somalian thing and all the fraud. Did you see that report that came out yesterday? And Lib's TikTok shared it out today, which I had shared it out last night. I assume that she was watching my show and that's how she stumbled on it.
I look
she
at tons
told
of
me
stuff,
that.
but so
That there was an independent audit that was done of the fraud in Minnesota, which I don't know how fast they did this audit when they started doing this, but I assume it was in the last couple of weeks. This independent audit basically was reporting shocking levels of fraud. I mean, just astonishing levels.
it's going to end up being trillions of dollars, especially nationwide. I mean, because it's not just Minnesota. It's Georgia, it's Tennessee, it's California, it's Michigan. Because, all right, you cut me off if you think I'm going too far astray, but what happens is we are a modern first world nation. We develop social safety networks for people who are poor and hungry and women and children. We want to take care of people. But the only way to run these systems efficiently is if they're run in a first world high trust society where you don't have to presume that everyone is trying to rob the system to the maximum extent. Because if that's the situation, you can't have the program. There's no way to run it efficiently if everyone's trying to rob it. It would be it's like that what they have to do with convenience stores in the urban centers, right? They put up all this bulletproof glass and CVS has to put everything in locked cabinets. You can't run that way. So we design our social safety networks for a high-trust society where you don't have to have those kinds of guardrails. And then we import hundreds of thousands of people from a very different culture, a low IQ, low trust, high fraud culture that has no long-term view, has no understanding of the sense of a golden rule, do the right thing. Their culture is you grab what's best for you right now. And you put those people, and they could be 68 IQ, which, by the way, is the average IQ of Somalia. They could be 68 IQ, and you put them in a wealthy, trusting, high-trust first-world country, and they will rob it blind. It may as well be, it's like if you put me outside a bank vault with the door open, and there's stacks of money in there, I'm not going to steal the money. But if you put a Somalian outside that door, he'd be like, I'd be a fucking idiot not to take this money. It's right there.
And you also know you're not
that's
gonna
what
get
we've done
prosecuted.
to ourselves.
You also know you're not going to get prosecuted. You know that you're insulated because that's basically what the government keeps telling you over and over again.
That's the other thing. So they're savvy about, they're experts at exploiting these opportunities. So what do? They get Somalians elected to city council, to mayors, to be U.S. congressmen, and then they modify the rules. You know, a lot of this Somalian fraud, billions of dollars of this Somalian fraud may actually not be a crime. Do you know they changed the rules for these daycare centers where you get paid not for children attending, but for children who are registered?
Oh, Jesus.
And then they just all register each other's kids. And they'll look you right in the eye and they say, listen, I never took a dime for a kid who was not registered.
Right.
And they're telling the truth.
Yeah,
and it actually technically may not be a criminal offense.
Yeah, because and frankly, that what they basically do is they'll give kickbacks and say just register your kid here, and we'll give you some money, and the same kid could be registered in 20 different schools.
So I see Trump and all these people saying, "Oh, we're going to bring in the Department of Justice is swarming in 500 prosecutors." I'm like, this is a charade. You're going to bring those prosecutors in, and they're going to look at this case. They're going to say, all right, I've got to put this in front of a jury, which might have Somalians on it, by the way, in front of a jury, and have to convince them that what these people did was a crime beyond any reasonable doubt. And the rules actually say they're allowed to do this. It doesn't say the kids have to show up. It just says the kids have to be registered.
Yeah. So
That's insane.
there are rules that are designed to enable fraud.
Yes.
I mean, wasn't the audit only done on like 5% of those, and like 61 out of the 75 were found to be fraudulent? So, like the audit on all these things, like for the grants.
You know, I mean, the trouble is, what's fraud mean? Fraud implies some kind of illegality, right? I mean, are they all getting money for kids who are not actually ever showing up? Yes, they're all doing that. Is that a crime? They changed the rules to make it not a crime.
Yeah, I'm trying to share.
So you're saying I should go to Minnesota and start a daycare? That's what you're telling me.
No, because you'll get prosecuted.
You will.
All right, I'm gonna get a fraudulent 23andMe. I'm gonna go get some iodine, and I'm going to Minnesota, boys. We're getting rich, everybody.
And by the way, once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. So it was the same thing with the hotels with the migrants. So these, I'll just make up a purely imaginary example, but just imagine some Indian guy buys a hotel in Colorado. All right. Yeah. And then he makes a deal with the federal government to house migrants there. And the deal is it's a 400-room hotel. He gets paid $500 a night for every room, regardless of if there's anybody in the room. So he gets full occupancy payments from the federal government, guaranteed income, and he doesn't have to house anybody.
The reason I brought up the fraud, though, in the middle of this story is because you were talking about how there's zero accountability, and what I was saying is, when I saw this report last night, I was like, I think we're gonna see accountability. I'm hopeful that even with having feckless, seemingly useless Pam Bondi in power, I think that this report here, which is done by independent auditors, who didn't have subpoena power, they're just looking at what the records, superficially say. The audit that they uncover here is astonishing. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Check this out.
According to the nonpartisan legislative auditor, this is another case of mismanagement of taxpayer money. But perhaps the most explosive revelation is that managers within DHS, the Department of Human Services, tried to cover their tracks by backdating and creating new documents.
It's all women.
It's all women. This is what's so shocking. It's white women who are calling out the fraud. When white women are when white women are no longer your friend, I'm saying Tim Walz and those in Tim Walz's orbit are in trouble.
What a serious issue this is, and how it is frankly unacceptable.
Another sobering report by the Office of the Legislative Auditor, this one concerning the Behavioral Health Administration within the Department of Human Services, which issues grants to providers treating mental health and drug and alcohol addiction, hundreds of millions of dollars each year. The audit found them issuing grants to applicants without a bidding process.
So what we saw is that there was multiple entities that could have been eligible, and they chose not to provide a justification for why they were picking those.
This report is quite stunning.
One outrageous example, the auditors found a grantee that was paid $672,000 for 1 month of work without any info on what they do.
We don't know what they do. We have no idea what they do. We give them $670,000. The next line here, by the way, is it was the first payment. They just heard of this company like a month earlier, and they're like, "Here's $670,000. We don't know what you do," and the story gets even worse
on what they do. And the audit says the grant manager who paid it then left DHS a couple days later and became a paid consultant for that company.
Andrew, I don't know if you're listening to what they're saying here. They didn't know anything about what this company does. They just showed up on the doorstep. They did no research into it. In his first month, they gave him $670,000. They approved that. And the guy who approves it quits DHS a few days later and becomes a paid consultant for the place that he just gave them money. Right. This is a type of fraud.
That's my analogy of a first world nation having the vault door open, where anyone can walk in and take the money. I mean, for right now, I'm wearing a watch that costs a lot more than many cars. If I had left my watch on the counter in my kitchen and Joe was my guest for the weekend, I would have zero concern that Joe was going to take my watch. But we've all probably known people. We know if we let them into our house and the watch was there and they saw it, it would disappear. It would go away, right?
Andrew,
what we've done, the drug addict relative, right? That drug addict cousin who's always calling for money. You can't let them in your house if you're leaving watches around. They're going to disappear. What America has done is that we've let the drug addict cousin into our nation. And when he looks around, all he sees are rivers of money that he can steal. And so, of course, he's stealing it.
Yeah.
Question is, Andrew, after seeing Joe's rap song, would you still leave your watch around? Because I wouldn't.
His has diamonds on it.
No, we've made a mess of it. We truly.
So my point is, this blatant level of fraud is something that I do think it's reflective that there has to have been this is reflective of fraud at the very top. That they're basically like we set systems in place that are designed to enable fraud, and this is at the very least criminally negligent.
So it is a system. You describe it correctly. So what happens is that the Democrats, for example, in Minnesota, just imagine they bring in some Somalians and they realize the Somalians are stealing a few $100 million, pennies, right, compared to what's going on now. And the Democrats go to the Somalians and say, hey, you guys are stealing a lot of money. And the Somalians say, don't notice this. In fact, if you don't notice it, we'll give you 10% of that for your campaign fund. And the Democrats go, well, that's cool. That's pretty much the arrangement we've had with Planned Parenthood for 50 years. We're accustomed to that. We'll let you keep stealing, and you just give us some of the money. And then the Somalians, they're savvy. They say, it would be even more helpful if, like, you help us get some Somalians elected to government. You know, that would be really nice, too. We could steal even more money and give you even more money. It would be really helpful if you relax the rules and how daycare centers get compensated. That would make us more money, and we would give you. So it's a coherent system that works in that environment. That's exactly what's happening in Minnesota. And the only solution to people standing outside your open vault door who are going to rob that vault is to not have them there. The only solution is to not have these people in our country. If they are here, if they are physically present, they have access to those programs, they have access to those politicians. It's an inherently corruptive process, and they will exploit it exactly like they're doing now. The only thing that can fix this problem, it's not prosecutions, it's not tightening up the system. The only fix to this problem is to get these people the F out of my country. Send them back home. Let them be super productive Somalians back in Somalia.
Well, I mean, if they were super productive and actually benefiting anything, Somalia would be.
You ask them, they'll tell you they are.
You bull.
No, they'll tell you. The Somalians will tell you. No, we
Somalia. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, so
they're rich right now. Somalia's doing pretty good right now.
I don't think it's really fair to allow 259,481 bad Somalians speak ill of the other 30 who are really good.
Also, the fact that Andrew was being generous and he was grading up their IQ, it's actually below 68. It's like 67.6.
Well, okay. I was rounding.
He was rounding up. He was being generous. So yeah, I mean, that's made it so.
Have you guys ever seen the World IQ map?
No, I don't think I've.
So I use it all the time on my show. It's I wonder if I have it handy. It's anyway.
I would love to see
all the
that.
first world countries, all the America, Europe, Australia, all the Europe and all the the countries colonized by Europe. Average IQ 100 plus, and then you get to Central and South America. Average IQs drop down to the 80s.
Yeah,
those places look different than America and Europe, don't they? And then you get to Northern Africa, Middle East, India. Average IQs drop down into the 70s. Those places look even worse.
Yeah.
And then you get down to Sub-Saharan Africa, and the average IQs drop down to the 60s, sometimes even the 50s, and they look really different. And I am utterly convinced that the differences we see in these different societies is almost entirely driven by their difference in IQ. Because we have demonstrable examples of this, right? When you take first world peoples, when you take Europeans and you put them in Rhodesia or you put them in white South Africa, they build first world cultures there. And the moment they're driven out, what happens to those societies? Rhodesia becomes Zimbabwe and starves. White South Africa becomes black South Africa. I think it's all different. I think we have to accept the reality as a first world nation that there are people who are dumb enough. They just cannot do what we do. And really, in life, we've all learned this, right? We've all encountered the cashier girl who can't count change. We've all had this experience. We've all been to the Department of Motor Vehicles. We've all had to deal with an airline clerk behind the counter. Some people are just fucking stupid. And we're socially conditioned to pretend that's not the case just to get along with everybody. But we all know it's true. There's a lot of dumbasses out there. And unfortunately, 7 billion of them are around the planet.
And the problem is that people don't even realize, though, that an IQ, for you to be considered mentally retarded, medically, it's like, what, 75 to 70?
75.
Yeah.
It used to be 80, but they lowered it because we had a lot of, it turns out we had a lot of retards in the country already. So we didn't want them
I'm
to
from
feel
Alabama.
bad.
I know a bunch of them.
So the average IQ retarded is defined as 75. The average IQ in India is 76.
Is it really?
Yes.
All right, I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, wow. That's why they serve food with their hands.
Pat Africa, that big old continent over there, they never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one.
Not
Even
one.
before the first colonization of white people.
Oh, it is.
And built nothing. No sewer system. No houses above one level. And none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged because black folk don't know how to run no nation.
But I mean, look at it. Look at all the examples we have. Look at Rhodesia. That was a modern first world country. You give it back to the sub-Saharan Africans, and what happens? It collapses into Zimbabwe. India. The British gave them a governance structure, a European governance structure, railroads, modern infrastructure, and the Indians have built. Did the Indians have a high-speed rail? They're still running the trains from 1950, for God's sakes, in India.
100%, yeah.
South Africa, is it better now than it was, I mean, technologically, in terms of societal sophistication, than it was under apartheid? You cannot give something that requires 100 IQ to someone who has a 75 IQ and expect it to work. And none of us would do this in our own personal affairs.
A great example, if you want to see like an actual firsthand example, go watch Empire of Dust. If you've never seen that documentary, it is amazing. It's China is in Africa, and what they're doing is they're giving them.
I saw a clip of that on social media. The poor Chinese guy is like, "Oh my God, they're all idiots."
Yeah, that's basically what the entire documentary is. The Chinese guys are there, just completely taking advantage of them and telling them that they're doing it and they're like, you've done nothing. These white people came in and gave you trains and roads and all these things, and you've robbed the resources that they left to build your huts and your homes and your shops and all this stuff, and you've done nothing to upgrade. You've done nothing to even manage them. You've just taken them and left yourself with nothing.
All the machinery breaks down because it's not maintained. Yeah. It's exactly what you would expect if you gave 100 IQ tools to an 85 or 75 IQ people. Of course, it all gets destroyed.
And he tells them, like, that's why China is doing what we're doing to you right now. That's why we're taking all of your resources because of what you did, because you're not intelligent enough to at least maintain.
I want to be clear. Okay, I want to make clear so that no one misunderstands. There are plenty of, on an individual basis.
Yes.
On an individual basis, there are plenty of brilliant people from every race. It doesn't matter whether you're talking black,
From every
Indian,
country.
Chinese, Jewish, white. Doesn't matter. There are individual instances of brilliance in every race. But when you're talking about an overall demographic, that's what Branka is talking about. When you're looking at the overall mean and how a society is able to perform and advance when the mean is considerably lower than it is compared to a different culture, you can understand why that country is going to suffer. It's just a natural outgrowth.
So I mentioned sub-Saharan Africa has a very low average IQ. Some of my personal heroes I've admired my entire life are African Americans. Clarence Thomas, Thomas Sowell. These are geniuses. These are men who are far smarter than I'll ever be. So every individual should be judged as an individual.
Yes.
The problem is, what America is doing is we're not importing individuals. We're importing hundreds of thousands of third worlders at a time. And when you're importing large numbers of people, you should not expect you're getting the exceptional geniuses. You should expect you're getting something close to the average of that demographic.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting. And that's not good. In fact, it's bad for everybody. I mean, you look at India, average IQ 76. America, average IQ 100. If you take a 90 IQ person out of India and bring him to America, you've literally made both countries dumber.
Yeah,
you took away one of their smarter people, and you brought him into a community where everyone's smarter than him.
You also and you made his position in many ways worse off. I remember when my son was 5 years old, and he was a really smart kid, and I was like, maybe we should start him off, in school, try and get him into first grade or whatever. Like I was looking about pushing him ahead, and the principal of the school, when he came in for an interview, he's like, educationally, could he handle it? For sure. On a maturity basis, he's probably going to struggle, and he's going to, instead of him spending his entire life trying to keep up, if you hold him back to like a normal age, because he was born, actually his birthday is January 3rd. So I was like, just because January 3rd, if he's born December 30th, you would take him. He's like, yeah. And so at best, he'll be average if you push him up a year. If you push him down a year, he'll be the top of his class for the rest of his life. Why would you want to put him in a position where he's going to struggle? And I think that applies here. When he takes someone who has a 90,
I have to push back.
Well, the point I'm getting at is if you take someone who has got a 90 IQ compared to people who have like an 80 IQ, so he's able to be king of the 80 IQ people. But if you put him in a place where everyone's 100 IQ, in that case, it's relatively, he's going to struggle more compared to them because he doesn't shine nearly as well. So you want back on that.
Yeah. So maybe I misunderstood your point, but where I was going to disagree, I was going to say, well, your son obviously is going to grow in capability and sophistication and intelligence as he matures.
Yeah.
That's not true when we're talking about demographics. So I think many Americans have a mistaken belief that, sure, maybe people in these third world countries, they're not as smart as us, but if only we brought them to America, suddenly they'd have 100 IQ like us. That's not true. That doesn't work. It never happens. IQ is almost entirely genetically coded. You cannot change. You cannot increase an individual's IQ. You can teach them new knowledge and new skills, but their fundamental hardware processing power is fixed at conception. It's genetic. So you cannot take a 68 IQ Somalian, bring him to America, and expect him to function as a 100 IQ American. He's simply not capable of it any more than I'm capable of dunking a basketball. It cannot be done. And the same is true for 70 IQ peoples and 80 IQ peoples. If you have an 80 IQ, you have an 80 IQ. That's all. I have a very high IQ, but I know I will never have an IQ higher than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the lowest IQ state in the United States. What it is. The lowest across the entire country. It's Mississippi. It's 95.
All right. Well, the problem is, it's always the same map. Is in America, we have a complicating factor here, which is demography, right? We're not a We're not a homogenous
We're not a
society.
homogenous society.
For example, if you look at American test scores in schools for our students on a worldwide basis, it doesn't look great. It's pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
But if you break up America in two different demographics, it looks very different. White students, white Americans, score in the top 5 of countries who take nationwide student exams. But you go down the list, and you get the Hispanic students, you get the Black students, they perform much less well. So looking just at, America on average has this score, I'm not sure that's actually that useful information, because America produces a lot of very smart, capable people because they're in a different demographic than the students who perform poorly.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So I share with you what Jacob Fry said. Let's hear from Tampon Tim today.
To Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully, as you always do.
As you always do. As you always do.
That's why somebody got shot today.
Give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side.
Are they?
To Americans, I ask you this. Please stand with Minneapolis.
Please riot across the country.
Yeah.
Minnesotans.
Please
no
burn your own
administration
states down.
is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation.
Good luck.
We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on...
To do what?
No one knows. No one knows. But it sounds really impressive, doesn't it?
It really
the thing is, it sounds like he's preparing to fight the federal government. This sounds like the Confederacy, before they broke up. It's like we're bringing up the militia, boys.
Calm down, Andrew. I'm from Alabama.
Stand strong with Alabama.
This guy is such a fucking Nancy. He just is. He's just a Nancy. He makes me so mad to even look at him.
I swear to God, if I saw a video of Tim Walz blowing a guy, I would think he was less gay than I think he is now.
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would blow a guy to skip in line to blow a bigger guy. I'm just throwing that out there.
We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard.
Yeah, this is not just about Minnesota chuckles.
No,
that's a big deal, by the way. That's a big deal. I've activated the Minnesota National Guard. If I were Trump, my ears would be perking right up.
Yeah.
Because that looks a lot to me like a state insurrection against the federal government, which looks a lot to me like the Insurrection Act, which suspends posse comitatus, which allows Trump to do pretty much anything he wants.
So, and my question is that, like, once they're activated,
would that be seditious?
Well, my question is, once they're activated, couldn't Trump say, well, now that they're activated, I'm taking them under my command? In other words, I think you need his assent.
The Supreme Court just said no.
What did the Supreme Court say?
The Supreme Court said you can't do it. You can't activate the National Guard unless you have first failed to secure order with the full-time military.
Yeah, but he's not calling them up. They're being called up by... He would just be taking them once Tim Walz takes the action of calling them up. I think that he has the right to say, now that they're called up, I have the right to take over charge.
The appropriate response to Tim Walz calling up the Minnesota National Guard is for Trump to call up not a National Guard, for Trump to call up the full-time professional U.S. military and send them in.
Okay, yeah. So if the military can't, air quotes, get control of the situation.
So when we had all these desegregation battles in the 60s and Eisenhower was sending in soldiers with bayonets to force black kids into white schools, that was not the National Guard.
Mm-hmm. I was a full-time
That was like the
military.
101st Airborne. Those were full-time normal military forces. There's no question the president can send them. The Supreme Court has told the president, hey, before you can even consider the National Guard, you have to send in the actual military first. So why wouldn't Trump do that now?
But Joe is sitting there. Joe, you're thinking.
No, it makes
that
Joe
it-
uncomfortable because it makes me uncomfortable because it's a nightmare scenario.
No, it's not. It's not making me uncomfortable. It's
I mean,
more a
I
matter
live
of,
in the South. I'm not worried about it.
I read that decision. I don't know. Maybe the way you're reading it is the way it is the way Kavanaugh read it. And I don't think Alito and Thomas read it that way. And the way I read that
Are they in the chain of command for the military?
What I'm saying is the way I read that decision. I read the decision as them saying, "Look, you cannot call in the National Guard unless you've exhausted every possible situation. But this is not a situation that you're allowed to call in the military. So if you're not allowed to call in the military, then you're definitely not able to call in the backup to the military, to National Guard. Hence, you're not allowed to do it. I think it was a retarded decision. It was completely illogical. It doesn't
So
make
if
any
the
sense
president
at all.
invokes the Insurrection Act, is he then allowed to call out the military?
So possibly, but
no. That's not the question I asked. Because you're saying possibly, like he might be possibly authorized to invoke the Insurrection Act.
Well,
but if he invokes the Insurrection Act, clearly he has the authority to call out the military. The invocation may not be legitimate, but if it's invoked, that gives him the authority to call out the military.
Okay, but I'm coming at this from a complete, like a side type of collateral type of argument, which I think comes first. You know, the same way that venue and jurisdiction come before you start dealing with everything.
Yep.
So I'm coming at this from a completely different angle, and that different angle is this: I think that Supreme Court decision may be wholly irrelevant here, and the reason I think it's wholly irrelevant is because I think that what they are addressing is in what scenarios is Trump allowed to call them up. That is very different from a National Guard that has been called up and who's in charge of them. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is if that Supreme Court decision may stand in the way of his authority to actually activate the Minnesota National Guard. But once the governor activates the Minnesota National Guard, I don't think that decision has any bearing on Trump's right to say, oh, great, they're activated, I'm taking them now, and to actually use them and direct them and be the general leading that National Guard. Just because once Tim Walz has foolishly taken this step, now that power is something that Trump has the right to say that power belongs to me. They have to follow
All right,
my
so
orders.
I think there's a complicating factor here, and I don't claim expertise here either, because I've never served in the military, but I have a lot of people in my community who have. And I think something you may be missing, and I could be wrong. They tell me all the time that there's actually multiple levels of activation of National Guard.
Okay.
There's like pure state. There's kind of a mixed federal state thing. Then there's a pure federal thing. So the mere fact that Tim Walz is activating the National Guard at the pure state level would not automatically trigger any kind of authority for the federal level.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I mean, that was the first thought that I had, that maybe that it's nice that Tim Walz activated them. Maybe that serves to actually give Trump more power rather than making them a threat to him. But I agree with you that to the
it's
extent
more complicated. For example, if Tim Walz, if there was tornadoes or something, and Tim Walz called out the National Guard on a state level to help with tornado damage, that would not give the president any extra authority over the National Guard in that circumstance.
Well, that was the first thought that I had. But my second thought is, if in fact he's calling up this National Guard to impede federal agents,
well, that's different. That's insurrection.
That is to me that is insurrection. Yeah, to me,
of course, it's by definition it's insurrection. He's impeding the function of the federal government,
and that's what it sounds like he's looking to do here. That's what I mean. Why are you calling them? Look, maybe he's calling them up in order to help keep peace in Minneapolis because he's expecting riots to reign throughout the land, which I wouldn't be surprised.
No, he explicitly said to combat ICE.
Let's hear him out here.
Not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
I don't know what the
So
hell
this guy
is
has
saying.
been saying for days that Minnesota is at war with the federal government. And now he's calling out the Minnesota National Guard. You know, there's defamation by context.
Right.
You can't ignore the context here.
No. I agree with you. This is his way of trying to threaten Trump, like militarily.
And by the way, if I were Trump, I would be begging for this. I would be on my knees every day saying, for God's sakes, please have Tim Walz call out the National Guard in insurrection against the United States federal government, because that would open up the door to anything he wants to do. He could suspend habeas corpus. He could just start grabbing people off the streets and putting them in prisons. He could start deporting people summarily. He could do all the things that Lincoln was doing.
I was literally about to say he could turn Lincoln.
It's time. It's time to Maduro Tim Walz.
Oh, can we please get the same picture? The sad face with the water bottle and the.
I want to see him in the gray jumpsuits.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a jumpsuit; it was a Nike sweatsuit. Okay,
You'd fly Tim Walz out to the USS Iwo Jima just for tradition's sake.
Just for shits and
just for the photo op.
So that's one reason.
This is what Minnesotans are now turning to.
Bob, I want to jump in here. I want to ask you where you're at right now. And we're seeing the images on the screen. There's that flag you were talking about being burned here. What kind of things are they shouting? The crowd that's out there. I know they're
words, all kinds of things. It's wild.
It's insanity.
Not happy. ICE is there. They've been talking about that. What are they saying? What's the energy like where you are right now?
So that's one reason.
It's un-American, as always. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's like basically we hate America. That's what's going on in the streets of Minnesota.
Do you think these type of people buy flags just to hold them for burning later?
Yeah, for sure. Right.
So
that's a good deal.
Can I
on a
propose
flag
a rule? A rule like if you're here on a visa, or you're here on a green card, or you've become a naturalized citizen, and you say one fucking word that's contrary to the national security interests of the United States, we just put you in a trebuchet and launch you into fucking space. I mean, when you become a naturalized citizen, you take an oath that America takes as your commitment to our nation and to the interest of our nation. We don't naturalize people so they can be traitors and hate our country. All these people should be ejected from our nation.
Without a second thought. It's I mean, I've long stood for the notion that I disagree with the Supreme Court's wide berth of civil rights that they extend to people who visit our country. To me, the purpose of civil rights is something that was designed philosophically as something that was designed that we, the people who put people in power, directed those people in power. We didn't give you that authority over us. So the limitations in your power, when we ceded power to you and said, you're gonna wield these levers of power, we're not ceding your authority to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all 10 of the Bill of Rights and subsections thereof. And that's basically what we're doing. But that doesn't mean, but we want you, part of what we do want from you is we want you to protect us. And if there are enemies, whether they're on our soil or outside, that you should protect us from them. And they're not entitled to the same civil rights because they're not the ones who are empowering you.
Even if they're not enemies, Joe. I live in a house. You live in a house. We have locks on our doors. My neighbors are not my enemies. I don't want them claiming a right to live in my house. They don't have to be enemies. I just have a family, and this is for my family. I have a nation, and this is for my nation. Our founders, when they established the U.S. Constitution, the preamble says, it doesn't say we're doing this for the benefit of the whole fucking world. It says we're doing it for ourselves, securing the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, not all 8 billion people on the face of the planet. We are different. That's what they said. There is no equivalence. You are your own people, your own nation. Do whatever the fuck you want. But this is ours. And now America has cheapened citizenship. It's like a father watching his daughter throw away her chastity. America has cheapened its citizenship until we just sell it for a price to anybody who comes here, stays long enough, pays enough money. They get a paperwork certificate that they're an American citizen. But you can just look at them and look at how they conduct themselves. They're not a cultural American. They remain a cultural Somalian or a cultural Indian. That is so wrong. All this Greenland talk, I keep hearing people say, oh, we should just pay the Greenlanders a bunch of money and we can even offer them citizenship. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Of course, give them money. I don't care about the money. But American citizenship should be the single most precious asset that America has. We shouldn't be giving it to anybody. There's a lot of people we should be taking it away from.
Agreed, 100%.
Sorry, I got heated there.
No, that was great.
that.
No, clip it 100%. That was fantastic.
There you go.
I agree with you. Yes, 100%. Yeah.
The last thing we should barter away is our citizenship. The last thing.
American privilege is the greatest privilege.
Yeah,
it is. It's the greatest privilege, and all these people who are continually railing that we should be admitting everyone here. It's simply reflective that they have no appreciation for just how blessed they are to be born an American citizen. That's really what it is. They have zero regard. Yeah, they have zero regard for the value of what they were of the silver spoon that they were born in their mouth, that they have American citizenship.
Yeah.
This is why people like No Tie Branca.
I hope I didn't get you in trouble, man. It's always dangerous to have me on your show.
Yeah, no.
Don't worry about it. I'm here every Wednesday.
You can't see Ashley Babbitt's murder as some terrible action. Yeah, praise this. You can justify both, but that doesn't make it right. Yeah. I made the comparison to Ashley Babbitt online earlier when I was tweeting out about this. Jay Trobeck says, no matter what happens, the agent's life is effed. That's the sad part. Joe, check locals check. That was before he sent me the 100. After, I guess, right after. No worries, Attorney General will be arrested for accepting a bribe. No, that's a good point. Little Dicky this is going back to the rap song. Little Dicky is a great Jewish rapper. Watching respectfully. Thank you. I appreciate it. Tina Turner, that was referencing a line from my song. That poor bastard with $100 got Jew, Joe. Sorry. J.H. Schwabeck, that was the poor bastard. Saying, Andrew, I'm 67. I ride Suzuki Hayabusa, and I've been riding with a group of guys since the 80s. Would love to hook up and ride with you. Sorry, my friends are Harley guys. So
I don't care what you ride. I'm DM me. I'm on X, The Branca Show. Send me a DM.
What made you switch to the Branca Show? That's something that came up over the last few months. And I noticed that it's worked for you. God bless. You're on your way to 300, and I hope you get 10 times what you currently have. You deserve every freaking follow and then some.
The goal is 1 million, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be canceled by YouTube anytime. They're squashing my analytics really hard.
It's probably easier to find. That's
no, it's not that. So for like, I don't know, 20 years, I'm doing this, right? I'm doing the law of self-defense. Yeah. And I'm just doing my law of self-defense stuff, and that's still that's still a practice I operate. We're still I'm like a Jamaican taxi driver now. I have multiple jobs.
Yeah.
But I hired a consultant to help me grow my law of self-defense YouTube channel, and well, he might be listening, so I don't want to say anything negative, but
it's working. It's
in
working.
The course of that. Well, I didn't follow his advice. So. But in the course of that, I did a couple of shows where instead of talking about use of force law, I was talking about politics. And the analytics went,
there you go.
And I was like, listen, dude, I'm not here out of pride. I'm here out of money. All right. I'm here to make money. If I can make more money talking about politics, I'm happy to do that. I don't care. I'm happy to talk about politics. So I started talking about politics, and that's what happened.
Yeah,
that's when the.
My question was the switch. So that's why instead of law of self-defense, you switch to the Branca Show to reflect the fact that it's more political now.
So we still have a law of self-defense YouTube channel. I still have a law of self-defense webpage. That business still operates.
But
just
you
like
broaden your horizons then, and you
I
broaden your horizons.
Basically started. I hit 60 and started a second business. Yeah,
there you go. Branca absolutely bullseyes these issues. Love it. There's footage of ICE doing the exact same maneuver and moving people with their SUV moments after this woman was killed. Why is that not terrorism?
I see that. I love this kind of retard thinking. It's the same kind of people who say, well, this same woman earlier in the day wasn't doing anything offensive. What the fuck does that matter? What matters is what this officer saw in the moment he perceived a threat to him. It doesn't matter that she was peaceful earlier in the day. It doesn't matter what other people are doing elsewhere. It matters what he reasonably perceived as a threat in that moment. That's what justifies the shot.
That makes sense because Joe, the day he recorded his rap song, was a respectful Jewish man, and then he recorded that rap song, and you know, at that point he should have been drawn and quartered.
And
I'm just throwing that out there.
I'll tell you, Keith, the difference is that they're federal agents in pursuit of following federal law and trying to enforce federal law.
Yeah.
And you, as an individual private citizen, don't have the same rights to do whatever the hell you want to try and impede them. This is not, you are not them. And this twisted notion that because you're an American citizen, that means that you have a right to do and say and act however you want and can follow the same rules. So just because a cop is able to block traffic, that means you could block traffic, is moronic. It doesn't make any sense. No one who's actually thinking through objectively would come to a conclusion like that. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm a sovereign citizen, Joe. I want my admiralty court.
The objective is that they're trying to make sure that this country is running efficiently, and the individual who's trying to impede them is trying to stop this country from running efficiently. That's what it is. It's really that simple.
Fundamentally, we will not have an America in 20 years if we don't get rid of these tens of millions of third world migrants in our country, legal and illegal. And they know that. And they don't want us to have an America in 20 years. That's what we are. America is engaged in an existential war to be America right now. It's kind of like a quiet war. It's not a hot war most of the time. But that's what it is. If we are just don't do anything, we will not be in America. Our founders, or even people who, like me, came of age in the 1980s would recognize as America. If you want America to remain a first world nation, it cannot be occupied by third world migrants. Those things are intrinsically inconsistent. Our nation will look like the culture they bring with them. That's how the world works.
Duck Fat asks a question. He says, the question should be, what if a judge refuses to dismiss the case in state court in Minnesota? Boasberg has continued to keep Trump in court despite SCOTUS ruling. Lower courts don't follow protocol. It's possible, no?
Yeah. Well, I guess then we'd have a lot of shows to cover.
That was not the fastest I've ever talked hands packed. That was another rant from him. I just want to make sure I covered all these. Jacob Cash says, this whole argument demonstrates the absurdity and logical contortion that is required when we apply existing rules to a completely broken system.
Right. So our first world rules don't work with the third world people. It should be obvious that would be the case. But what we've done is we have a first world culture with first world rules, first world guardrails, and we've imported tens of millions of third world people, and it does not work.
Yeah.
Matt K asking, will the feds protect that ICE agent's identity? Will the state have to sue to get his ID if they're going to try and prosecute?
It'll come out.
Yeah, it's going to get leaked. Someone's going to leak it. Someone's going to leak it. I mean, this guy, his life is probably screwed. It is, unfortunately.
By the way, I feel obliged to say, too, because I talk about all this stuff. I don't want people to take it wrong. I don't have any ill will towards Indian people or Somalian people or Haitian people. Or I wish them all the success in the world. Every success they could possibly imagine, I want them to secure. I just want them to secure it in their own nations. That's all.
And, of course, the Minnesota police have to come in there and try and rile things up all the more. Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association stands firmly behind law enforcement offers accountability under the law and safety of every Minnesota community. Irresponsible, reckless rhetoric from political leaders attacking law enforcement has real and dangerous consequences for officers on the street. Oh, look at this. They actually seem to be against Fry. When officers are vilified, demonized, or used as political props, it fuels hostility, emboldens bad actors, and puts lives directly at risk. MPPOA calls on leaders to stop the inflammatory language and respect the legal investigative process. Wow, that was actually much better than I thought.
So by the way, I personally have, because of my profession, have plenty of video. I have tons of video of cops getting run over by cars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if I've seen it, I can assure you the cops have seen it. So they know this is a real risk. And in this particular case, this woman actually hit the gas hard enough with the wheels pointed at the officer to spin the wheels on the ground. The officer had not even drawn his pistol until those tires were spinning on the street. That's when he took his gun out of the holster, pointed it at the windshield, and then the car advanced on him. And that's when he fired.
Check this out, because you need to know about the wife of this woman who was killed.
I mean, do we?
The wife of Renee. No, but this is interesting. Renee Nicole Good, the 37-year-old Minneapolis shooting victim who attempted to run over an ICE officer, appears to have been outside the vehicle filming as her wife blocked ICE vehicles. She's seen wearing a flannel shirt, walking around the vehicle and recording ICE officers. She later runs back to the vehicle to check on Renee. Afterwards, she tells a nearby man, "That's my wife." When he asks if she knows any of her wife's relatives she could call, she responds, "We're new here. I don't have people. I can't even breathe right now." So they showed up here.
She said, "I can't breathe."
Yeah.
Son of a, come on.
She seems to be taking to the local culture. She seems to be taking to the local culture pretty quickly. So I can't breathe.
She's acclimated already. It makes sense.
There you go. Why is she outside the vehicle filming while her wife was blocking ICE officer? Terrible. This is the video.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
This lady got blood. They don't, she was in the car with her, bro. Or she tried to save her or something. Somebody. Hey, was you riding with her? Did
Imagine if you're the guy who owns that white car.
I'd be so pissed.
You're like minding your own business. You're getting laid inside some house in the community, and you come back out, and your car's all wrecked.
Oh, yeah. No, that'd be so mad.
Oh, my God.
People yet? So you don't got none of her family members or anybody number? Do you know anybody on her Facebook? All right. Damn.
Yeah,
now the owner of that white car has to explain to his wife why his car was wrecked on that street.
Yeah. What were you doing parked there? What were you doing there, Larry?
It'd be another killing, 2 killings. 1 stone, 2 deaths.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I hope that car belonged there.
Yeah.
And so no one had to try explaining. So you see, oh my God.
What had happened was, you know, honey, the holidays just came by, and I was doing Uber Eats to just put a little money back in the checking account. That's what I was doing. So
you don't know who Walls and Fry think they are, that they're not abiding by federal laws. This is the culture. The culture is that we don't have to follow federal laws, that we can basically it's a self-entitlement perspective, and laws don't apply to us.
Yeah,
they've had a very cohesive, corrupt political and fraud system for many years, and they don't want that disrupted.
Yeah.
You steal money, you give me a little, I get elected. I make it easier for you to steal money. You give me a little, I get elected. That's the system. They don't want that disrupted.
Yeah. Well, so there's more. So we're seeing the start of rioting. I'm sure we're going to be seeing this going on for weeks now.
Jesus.
Who's the guy in the yellow coat?
They're all in yellow coats now.
I love that one.
Oh, it's so good.
Tell someone else!
It's like,
Get out of the way! Get out! Chris, get out the way! Get out the way of the truck!
If you work for ICE, you need an endless supply of mace. You really do.
I want more whatever those yellow powder balls are.
Yes.
I want a bunch of those.
I need
Just give me an infinite supply of those. I want a machine gun worth.
Pow, pow, pow.
Synopsis.
He's taking all the sting out of
Flying by me, so I'm like, something's happening over here. So,
And what did you
I'm
see
just
exactly
shaking.
yourself?
I didn't witness it, but I talked to several people that witnessed it, and they heard the gunshot. And the one guy said that they reached for her door handle, and then she took off, and then it shot her through the windshield and shot her in the face. So they're
So she basically, I know nothing. I'm just gonna give you the hearsay that I heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not really any.
You've seen the
use.
photos of the bullet hole through the windshield, right?
Yeah, which actually I don't know if I shared that here. I probably should.
We
I
have
probably
it.
should share something out. You
No,
have
we
it?
haven't shared. No, we haven't.
I shared it.
No,
earlier?
you haven't. We haven't
I
shared
have
that
not.
at all. We have not seen anything from the front of the car yet.
Let me see if I can get. Let me see if I can get that a photo of that.
If you can't, I have it.
Oh, all right. I'll probably be faster that way. I wanted to share one more. If you're offering, if it's sitting there at
Okay,
your disposal.
I when I say I have it, I mean I saved it. I gotta find it. Hold on. Maybe you'll find it first.
I want to give
got
you.
it. I got it.
All right. Let's share that real quick.
Pull it over here. Let me
Yeah, I
label
would-
it something I can find.
I would like to see that based off of our assessments earlier.
But
I
it
mean,
looks.
assuming just anecdotally, if I was him, I think you could get a pretty clean shot off right then and there. She was probably pretty donezo already. So
That's my question. I mean, it did look to me, based on where that bullet hole is, like that first shot hit her. It
Yeah.
wasn't the second or third one, but that was that first.
and I
shot.
doubt, with it being in the car like that, and it being a woman, I doubt he's trying to go for a center mass, because the steering wheel and the dash would be in the way. He's probably trying to go for, headshot. So
That's the shot right there. So that looks like, I mean, if the shot's coming from like right here where he's standing, if you picture like his arm being like, basically where
Ooh.
from camera perspective.
or where the telephone pole is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess it could have been.
But it could
I mean-
it could be. I think it's fair where we're standing, right to the right of the telephone pole.
Uh-huh.
So there's video of him being brushed by the car. You can see him getting brushed by the car.
Yeah.
So he tries to move out of the way. The car brushes him. He fires a shot. By the way, the justification for firing a shot is not just self-defense. It's also defense of others. This is a woman trying to drive over armed law enforcement officers. She's a threat to the community. She's a fleeing felon, even under Tennessee versus Graham and all those Supreme Court decisions. A fleeing felon who's a continuing danger to the community is still subject to deadly force. So he doesn't need to be defending just himself.
So first, to be a fleeing felon, would she not have to have committed a felony already?
She committed a felony by committing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon upon a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, I was
by
about
driving
to
the
say,
car.
wouldn't that be considered a fleeing felon at that moment?
She's a fleeing felon when she attempts to hit him with the car, or
Yes, right. It doesn't, obviously it can't require a conviction, right? Because you're dealing with the moment.
Right. No, I understand that, but my question is, you have to establish a predicate felony in order
Right,
to
the predicate felon, when she threatens to assault him with the car, that's a 20-year felony under federal law.
Right.
So at that moment, it's a fleeing felon.
Right.
And then as she's posing a risk because she's fleeing, that makes her subject to lethal force.
Assuming she's trying to flee, right? And not trying to hit him. I mean,
yeah.
But either way, either she's trying to hit him or she's trying to flee.
Either way, the shooting is justified. Either she was trying to hit him. So again, we have to keep in mind what she was intending doesn't actually matter. What matters is his reasonable perception of what was happening. So she might have actually have been intending, I just want to drive away from this riot now. I just want to go and make sandwiches.
You know what?
for
I
my
was going to
3
do what they
children.
wanted me to, and I was going to move out of their way. Yeah,
All
doesn't
that
matter.
matters is what was that officer perceiving, reasonably perceiving. If he was perceiving she was trying to run him over, that's self-defense. If he was perceiving she tried to run me over, failed, and now she's a fleeing felon, that's what controls.
Got you.
Oh, it's
So
gotta
at
be
that point,
fleeing
her
felon.
perception is out the window.
It's got to be a fleeing felon who's
Her
a risk to
perception is
others.
completely irrelevant.
It's a fleeing felon who's a risk to other people.
Right. Which a charging vehicle is almost always going to
I mean,
be.
who
On
said
the
that
ice,
earlier, Joe?
Especially on the ice.
Who
Right.
said that earlier, Joe? The lawyer or the dumb Alabama realtor?
I know what you're
that?
talking about.
Who said that earlier?
Are you in Alabama, man?
Yes, sir.
Where you at?
I don't give that information, but
Oh no, I don't mean your address. Like
no.
the city.
I'm originally from Central Alabama, though.
Okay,
So,
all right. I'm
yeah,
moving to
originally
Tennessee
from
in a couple
Birmingham.
months.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll be a
follow me on
neighbor.
Twitter. I'm not
Okay,
far.
why
I mean,
is everyone moving to Tennessee? What's in
it's
Tennessee?
so beautiful.
You and
It's
Ben
so beautiful.
Shapiro, and I think
It's so
Megyn
beautiful,
Kelly's
man.
moving
I can
there.
tell you.
Tell me.
Well, from where I'm coming from high desert in Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with this. Also, no income tax, no gun laws to speak of,
Yep.
and the
Cheap
no income
property.
tax alone, Joe.
Right.
No income tax alone, no state income tax. That's going to save me a fortune right there.
Mm. All right, that explains it.
And ample.
And they have trees.
inexpensive
They have.
property.
I mean, it's a normal green state. It's not like this desert I'm living in. I'm not a desert person. I hate it.
Not only that, like Bronco likes riding motorcycles. You're talking about some of the nicest rides that you can find. It's beautiful there.
Well, I will say this. In Colorado, the Colorado Rocky Mountains is the best motorcycling I've done in my life, and I've ridden much of the world on a motorcycle. I've also ridden the Appalachians, and it's very pretty, and I like it. But it's not the same. It's not.
Oh
the
no,
same league.
of course not. No, I went ahead and put my Twitter in the private chat. If you want to follow me, if you move to Tennessee,
yeah,
let me
sure.
know. Hit me up. Yeah, I'm not far.
So
Joe,
I wanna-
where you should move, man. Like I know you want to find a Jewish community in Florida, but like Tennessee, they also have Jews there. Ben
No.
Shapiro is there.
I've lived in Florida. I can assure you, Joe, there are plenty of Jews in Florida.
There's a lot of Jews in Florida, and I can help you there, and I can also have a reciprocal license in Tennessee and Florida. So
Florida is a destination which looks like it's probably
it's going to be more
probably
fitted for you. It really is.
it's probably on the to-do list at some point in my life.
I done told you, get down there and let me know. I'll start hooking you up. Which you probably know a Jewish realtor. It's gonna do a better deal for you than I would. Especially now since you got to pay.
You know what it's like
buying
dealing
agents.
with those Jews.
Yeah, I deal with one once a week. I'm telling you. And taking off for Christmas was beautiful.
I tell you one thing, Joe. What the Jews should do is anyone who's irritated with the Jews, you should make them deal with an Indian.
That is very true. No. I've got a friend that's an Indian. He annoys the hell out of me. So yeah, it's very true. You're nowhere near as bad as he is.
I'm going to
you're close.
We're going to close out this story here. I'm already 3 hours into my 2-hour show. And
Yeah, we got to end early. We got to end on time. I think is
Yeah.
what your exact quote was.
that's what I said. That's what I said. And I still haven't even done the second story yet. But I do want to close. I want my audience to see this clip here of this eyewitness who gives you some more perspective about what went down here.
I woke up to some commotion. I heard some whistles going on out front, so I came downstairs to see what was going on. Wasn't even dressed. And there was a car, the Honda Pilot that's crashed over there now. There's a car blocking the 2 lanes of Portland traffic. And the ICE agents got out and they were saying, get out of here, get out of here. And she was what looked like trying to turn around.
Yeah.
And the ICE agent was in front of her car and he pulled out a gun and put it right in, like his midriff was on her bumper, and he reached across the hood of the car and shot her in the face. It's like 3-4 times. And then she must have just stepped on the gas. She stepped on the gas immediately. Maybe got like 100 feet or so and ran into the telephone pole and some cars, and then was slumped over in her car. And you could see she was probably gone. And there was a medic. There was a neighbor who's a physician who was yelling, "Can I please check the pulse?" There was no first responders. There were 0 first responders.
Why would there be?
But that doesn't matter. The police are trained in being first responders. Like they're trained in life-saving techniques. Like that is a nonsensical piece of information.
But the point that she may not realize she's making here, if his gun is pointed at her with the hood of the car and she steps on the gas, she's trying to kill him.
Yeah, because she's
Right.
now saying, well, his torso was.
He
on
did
the
not
bumper.
advance his hips to the bumper of her car.
Right.
Right? That's not what happened. The bumper
No.
of her car advanced to his hips.
This witness who probably thinks she's a great witness for the
She
victim
was just
here,
trying to turn around, Joe.
actually serves to exonerate him, because you could
Yeah.
tell from her framing she's trying to like make everything that
Right,
she doesn't
'cause
understand.
She's
She-
testifying from what she saw, but she doesn't know there's video.
right, and
That's where
and-
they always get caught up.
But what she doesn't realize is that her own statements, from a legal sense, end up exonerating him. Because if he's
100%.
standing in front with his hand on the hood of the car, and you step on the gas, you know that there's a very high likelihood you're going to cause him serious bodily harm.
Yeah.
You know that that's going to happen. You think about this the same way ICE agents don't step on the gas.
She's
when
trying to
there's
say that the gas pedal was not depressed until the victim was shot through the face.
Right.
So it was unintentional.
Which-
but
yeah,
if you watch
which is
the video,
stupid.
you
Yeah.
can clearly see
That's
the
not what
wheels
happened.
spinning before the cop even has the gun out of his holster.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't pull his gun out until the wheels are spinning at him. And then he
Yeah.
pulls out his gun and he still doesn't shoot until the car actually lunges at him.
Yeah. So I do expect that this story is going to. This is
Oh,
not a
you're
one and
talking
done
about
story.
You're
We're gonna-
talking about a political football, a political hot potato that is going to be tossed around for the next 2 years. 3 years is, yeah. Be ready for it. It is going to come up again and again and again. And that's the problem, though. The story's not even done. This part of it is not. It's just started.
Are either of you familiar with the name? We're going to switch up gears here a little bit. Are either of you familiar with the name C. Weaver?
See, wait. Say that again. You said
C.
Wheeler?
Weaver. You
Oh.
would have heard it if you didn't hear in the last 48 hours. You've never heard it before.
No, I've never heard it.
Okay.
I don't think not in a political context.
Okay. New York City mayoral aide C. Weaver, who says whites
Oh, I
owning
have heard of her,
houses
yeah.
is racist, burst into tears when asked about her mother's $1.4 million Craftsman home.
Jesus.
A woke aide to New York City's new socialist mayor burst out crying when confronted over her assertion that it's racist for white people to own homes. She is white also, by the way. Despite her own mother owning a $1.4 million Craftsman house, C. Weaver, who runs Mayor Zohran-appointed's office to protect tenants, was overcome with emotion when confronted outside her apartment in Brooklyn on Wednesday morning. 37-year-old began running down the street after seeing a Daily Mail reporter outside her home, then said no through tears when asked if she wanted to comment on her professor mother's Celia Appleton ownership of the $1.4 million property in fast gentrifying Nashville. Weaver, she's going to be your neighbor, Branko. Weaver appeared to be walking to a nearby subway station, but then turned back and ran inside her home, which has a Free Palestine poster tapped. Of course it does. Of course it does. Taped to one of its windows. She was subsequently seen peering out the same window with the poster in it. Weaver previously tweeted that home ownership is a weapon of white supremacy and that home ownership is racist in social media posts. And also urged people to impoverish the white middle class. In another Twitter missive from 2018, Weaver wrote, "There's no such thing as a good gentrifier." Her mother's a gentrifier. There's no such thing as a good gentrifier. Only people who are actively working on projects to dismantle white supremacy and capitalism, and people who aren't. Weaver further called on people to seize private property and called for the election of communist lawmakers. They're all hypocrites. They're all hypocrites.
Every one of them.
You have to see, there's a thread of different things that this woman has written, which is just this isn't it.
Well, I mean, the side that they love the most, LGBTQ, as a real estate agent, my favorite gentrifiers are the gay community. And what they do is they'll do this like left-wing thing, and then they'll buy property and go totally conservative in the neighborhood and gentrify the hell out of it and refurbish and remodel. It's amazing.
Everybody is always conservative. I don't care who you are.
The moment they buy property.
You could be the hardest core communist in the world.
Yep.
Everybody is always conservative about what they value most.
And I mean, it's literally a meme in the real estate business that a gay couple will come off as a lefty couple or whatever, and then you want to sell to them because then they're going to refer you to their friends and then buy the house next to them and gentrify a neighborhood. It is amazing what happens, and they turn super conservative. So,
by the way, all gentrification really means is we're turning a third world community into a first world community.
Into a first world community.
That's all that means.
How
really,
dare
right?
you? How dare you?
We're moving it. Instead of having a Church's Chicken, we're gonna have a Starbucks. That's what it means.
you?
So Michelle Tandler says, a few months ago, I dug into Seaweaver's Twitter history because she was Mamdani's housing advisor. I had a hunch she might get a position on his team. Well, she did, and she deleted her ex account accordingly. However, I took some screenshots. Let's dig in. There's no such thing as a good gentrifier, only people actively working on projects to dismantle white supremacy and capitalism and people who aren't. Then you have, okay, so what are her beliefs? Let's see. Instead of blaming folks for not having access to mortgage in a rich neighborhood and all that comes with that, we should tax the rich, invest in the public good, stop all evictions, and fund safe, stable public housing for everyone. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to her mother with a $1.4 million home. Rent control and public housing for everyone, you guys. Massive government interventions to solve gentrification. This is when she had like 5 people following her. I agree with you unless you're talking about rent control, which is a perfect solution to everything. I don't disagree with this, but a couple of things. I think past really strong rent control is a more effective way to shrink the value of real estate. That's what her goal is. Her goal is to shrink the value of real estate.
Well, that will certainly encourage more rental properties.
That's exactly, yeah. Let's do more rental properties. That's.
Can you imagine? So I've lived in New York, and I've seen plenty of New York apartments that people rent. People will pay unbelievable amounts of money for like a basement Manhattan apartment.
Oh yeah,
and the only thing saving these basement apartments from being completely flooded is that the landlords were able to charge $4,000 a month to live in this 1-bedroom little shithole basement apartment. I can only imagine what's going to happen to them when the landlords discover they're not actually allowed to charge rent for these things anymore. Holy crap! They're going to be Harlem River rat swimming pools.
Okay. By the way, that's not even Mamdani. That's not even Mamdani. That's De Blasio. De Blasio did this already. I was last week when I was on. I told my audience about this last week, and I gave a detailed breakdown. I'll give a shorter synopsis. I was talking to a friend of mine because I don't talk business when I'm in synagogue. Believe it or not, we don't talk. My place doesn't talk business
very
at all.
Jewish.
I was about to say that doesn't sound very Jewish at
We
all.
don't-
Wait. What do y'all
we-
walk outside then talk business? Or?
No, we actually won't talk shop at all on a Sabbath. It's like considered. It's considered like It's not like an actual violation. It's something that's very seriously frowned on, and my synagogue takes that sort of thing very seriously. So there's no. So I literally, until I get to a wedding and I'm sitting with these people because we're all friends with the same guy. So this was Ron Coleman
at a wedding though.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was actually when Ron Coleman, who prays in my synagogue. So I'm sitting at a table with all these people from my synagogue, and we'll talk shop with them. So I was asking this guy what he does for a living. I'm sitting next to him in the synagogue for the last 7 years. I have no idea what the hell the guy does. And he says that he's a commercial appraiser. So I say, you appraise commercial real estate? And he said, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I said,
oh, that's what I want to get into.
so he was talking about how much harder when he talks to commercial appraisers from other cities. He's like, when I tell other commercial appraisers what I have to do in New York because there's so much regulation, they're astonished. Yeah. They're like, it's so confusing what all the laws and regulations. So I asked him about the COPA bill, which had just passed in New York legislature. Mm-hmm. So COPA, did you hear about the COPA bill, Andrew?
I think I have a general understanding of what it means.
For those of you who are
I don't want to
watching-
step on your lines. So
okay, so I appreciate it. So for those of you who are watching, the COPA bill, which was passed by the New York City Council, was vetoed, fortunately, by Eric Adams, was a mandate that you cannot sell a distressed multiple family dwelling, which has I'm not sure if it was 4 or 6 units or more, which
It's
is
3 plus. It's 3 plus.
3 plus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause,
so
I mean, I had to do a class on it for
right. Okay.
Yeah.
To you have to give a right of first refusal to the city.
I thought it was just for nonprofits.
You cannot, and the city can farm it out to nonprofits that they like.
Okay. Yeah.
So nonprofit. So it's like basically friends of Mamdani. Basically, is what it would be.
So they would, of course, farm it out. They would farm it out to NGOs
To their
who were
friends.
right?
Exactly.
Yes, any sort of like what would they consider like a multifamily building, right?
Yes, which is
that's
virtually
3+.
all of Manhattan.
Yeah, so
And-
the first right of refusal would go to the city, which from in my lesson, again, this is something I'm doing for just like extra. We got to do our license renewal every couple of years. They said nonprofits, so the city and then nonprofits, I believe, is the way it worked. So,
Right. So for people who don't know it, in New York City, especially Manhattan, but also the other boroughs,
Yeah,
a lot of the housing
Kimmel,
is not
Bronx,
these
Brooklyn.
giant buildings that you see. It's these
closet.
like brownstone type buildings that used to be single family residences, but they've been chopped up now into these 4 and 6 people apartments. And that's a huge percentage of the rental properties in New York. So when they're saying this, don't think it's like, oh, there's only a few of these. No. There are millions of people who live in these properties.
The people who defend the justification behind it say it only applies to the distressed ones. But this
They're
is
all distressed.
well, not yet, but they're all on their way there, and here's why.
Yeah.
Here's why New York City is so screwed. It is going to be a cesspool within 10 years. It has to be. And here's why. Because half of the city, 50% of the city operates under rent control. And the way it works with rent control, and I was explaining this to my audience last week, but there's probably a few of you here who were not here last week when I was explaining this, and it's so important, is that with rent control, you could have in the same building the same apartment, one floor above, one floor below, and one will be paying $1,400 a month in rent, and the guy right above him will be paying $900 a month in rent, and the guy right above him is paying $4,200 a month in rent. Why is that? Why is there a difference like that? Well, what ends up happening is under rent control, you're only allowed to increase rent by 2% per year. What happened was they said there's an exception that if there's a new tenant that comes in, you can jack it up. So every time a tenant would move out, they would jack up the rent. So the higher priced ones are the ones that they basically had turnover of different tenants, and they had more opportunities to jack up the rent.
Yeah.
The reason they're jacking up the rent, though, is because when you have someone who's living in an apartment for 30 years, which you have in these apartments, they'll pass it down to their children. So because they want to keep that low rent. There's no repair. You can't afford to make repairs on it. You're losing money on that space as it is between your real estate taxes and the overhead and the cost of your mortgage and your overhead. You're losing money on that unit. So you certainly can't invest into fixing it up. So what would happen is, when would they make repairs? They would make repairs when the guy moves out. When the guy moves out, that's when you invest in fixing the pipes and the air conditioning, all the HVAC system, all the stuff that you need to, and repainting.
Upgraded from 1950 standards.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. That only happens when people move out, and that's why they jack up the price.
And you can do
of
rent control family wise, right? So if your grandmother owned that, you can
That's true.
inherit it.
You could pass it. You could pass
You
it
can
down.
pass it down, and the family can live there
One
forever.
of the most popular TV shows in American history was Friends. The whole premise of Friends was that one of the people in Friends, her grandmother lived in this apartment in Midtown Manhattan and died, and they just never reported that she died. So they just took over her apartment, and they had the rent controlled. That's why they're working at a coffee shop. They're an unemployed actor. I mean, all the you wonder why. Listen, I've lived around Manhattan. I never could afford to live in Manhattan in my life myself. But you look at all these people. How do they have an apartment in Manhattan? Well, because they took over a rent-controlled apartment and just never reported that the grandmother had died.
So what this friend of mine told me was this: the rent control system that New York had before 2019, it actually worked because apartments would be fixed up eventually. Because you would fix it up, you would put $100,000 into fixing up a unit, and then you would jack up the rent, and you would make that money back over time, and you would get that back. But
to be fair, people learned how to accommodate themselves to the system.
Okay, but the system ended up working, right? I mean, it ended up working. In 2019, de Blasio, as mayor, he was a commie mayor, terrible human being, terrible person, such a hypocrite. Don't even talk to me about what he did during COVID lockdowns. This jackass changed rent control laws, saying that even when someone moves out, you can only raise it by 2%. You don't get to jack it up. So now all those
let me guess what
places-
happened, Joe.
Well, he screwed everybody.
Everyone got screwed.
Everybody.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is people move out, and those units suck. They haven't been looked at in 25 years. They're all run down, and you cannot afford to invest into. You can't put $100,000.
So that falls
into that.
now. All those fall under COPA.
So
because
all of
it's a
those,
distressed
all
building.
of those units,
Holy shit.
you know what happens to those units? No one lives there anymore
Yeah.
because
Well,
no
I
one's
can
gonna
tell you
move
what
in there.
happens from a guy who lived in New York City in the 70s and 80s.
It becomes run by drugs, and it's basically becomes a trap house.
Yes.
Or it's just burned down. Arson becomes a major industry. They just burn down the properties from the insurance value of the property.
And this
That's
is,
true. Yeah.
he told me, he said he's seen since 2019, 60 different units. He personally has seen 60 units, which are just, he said no one will ever live in these units ever again because you can't afford,
that's
you
right.
cannot, it's basically, it's financial suicide to invest in them.
Yeah.
So no one
Yeah.
would. So what happens when you have several of those units in a building? Well, all these buildings start becoming what's financially distressed. The entire city is about to become distressed
Right.
because no one's gonna be able to afford to actually take care of any of this.
Yeah.
So what they basically was trying to do is they're trying to make all of the property in New York valueless. They're right now. He said overnight the real estate market, commercial real estate market in New York fell by 50%. And the only reason that people are even giving 50% is because they're hoping and praying eventually that
Something will change.
the law will change. They're basically banking on that because if the law does not change, it is impossible to make money investing in residential units in New York. He says it's
So,
impossible.
Joe, I presume you've been around the New York metro area basically your whole life. Would that be
Yeah.
fair to say? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know how old you are. I presume you're younger than me. but-
55.
97.
Okay, so a few years younger than me. So I lived there. I had this experience. So when Rudy Giuliani was running New York, it was a beautiful
Phenomenal.
place. It was
Phenomenal.
unbelievable. It was a city you would love to go to, love to bring your wives and children to. But 5 years before that, New York City was a
Dinkins.
shithole.
Dinkins was terrible.
The whole place reeked of urine. It was disgusting. It was dangerous to go anywhere, and he just changed it. And then when he left, it started reverting back to the way it was before. But there's no. So when I worked as a mechanic in Harlem, New York, as a diesel mechanic, when I was a young man, Harlem, New York, which right now is a very polished up place, it looked like Berlin after World War II. If I went for a sandwich down the block, there were buildings. There were people inside the buildings burning trash in cans to have heat inside of buildings. Okay, there's no reason that New York cannot look like that again.
Yeah.
It can look like that again.
It will. It will. It's gonna look like apocalypse now. There's no hope for it under the current system, and that's your classic socialist system.
Well, you said
But
COPA didn't pass, right?
it didn't.
COPA,
It's true, but he said COPA is just
COPA
generally
passed
evil.
in 2025, though. It's like taking effect in this
No,
year.
no.
But
It
people
was
make
vetoed.
investment
It was vetoed by
decisions.
Eric Adams.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, all right. Because I mean,
People
like I
make
said,
investment decisions about what they expect to happen.
yeah. Because I mean, like
That's true.
Bronca and you have to do. I have to do CE every 2 years. I took a class on it, so that's insane. That is disgusting, and just gonna end up with a third world country in a first world country.
And it's looked like that before. Is my point
Yeah.
when I say that
Yeah.
I've lived there. I've lived in New York.
Well, I mean, that's why you had like all the all the like the Bronson films and shit. Like
I've
that
lived in New
70s,
right,
so.
exactly. It was exactly like that. I've
Yeah.
lived in New York when if you went on the subway, you knew you had a 50% chance of getting mugged on the subway. You just did. And then during the Giuliani era, everyone was on the subway. Movie stars were on the subway. Everyone could just do it. And they're going to reduce it back to where it was before. I mean, I would walk 40 blocks before I would get on a New York subway.
Yeah, that's.
I just wouldn't go to New
Right,
York,
Joe?
man.
It's really scary. I've taken it like when I was covering the Diddy trial. I was taking the subway. It's a very different thing. It used to be you would go down into when I was in law school, I would take the subway every day, and I'll tell you that I would take it. I wouldn't think twice about it. That was in the late 90s, and It was, there was sometimes you would have an awkward moment or something like that. Now, when you go down onto the subway platform, you stand. The entire, it was bizarre to me. The entire populace, when the train is coming in, stands 15 feet back from the platform.
So you're not pushing into the
out of fear that some lunatic is literally going to come run up behind you and try and shove you into the tracks. Like that's what life is like in New York.
Why live there? There's states like Tennessee and Alabama. Like you don't have to live there. Matter of fact, don't come to Alabama. We're horribly racist and everything's so third world and disgusting here. It's terrible. Do not come here.
I looked hard at Huntsville, my friend, when I was looking. I'm obviously moving out of Colorado. I looked hard at Huntsville.
Is beautiful. It really is beautiful. But if you don't want to live in Huntsville, then go to Tennessee somewhere around Chattanooga, I would say.
Anyway, it was nice to see C. Weaver break down in tears when confronted with the hypocrisy of the life she lives compared to the values she espouses, because they're all full of crap, and especially the ones who have any sort of access to levers of power. They are all so full of utter and total crap.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to land our plane over here. I want to thank you, Andrew Branca, for joining me. You're awesome. I don't have you here nearly often enough. And Sin...
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
It was nice seeing you too.
I was a little worried about our relationship when I bombed out of that debate.
Oh, you were worried? No, if anything, I felt guilty that I ended up asking you to join that clusterfuck.
Well,
so,
there's debate, was it? Well, if that's how you felt, let me assuage your guilt. There's no reason for you to feel guilty. I came in knowing that was a risk. I fully assumed that risk myself.
He deserves it.
No, he definitely does not.
He's not a good man. I'm just telling you. He yells at me all the time.
He's a good man. You deserve yelling at.
He does.
It's not abuse if it's earned.
He was. Right. They were going to invite me back on. They were going to invite me back on for to talk about this shooting. They want to invite me in to debate Destiny about this whole thing.
I'll debate.
But he's like, oh, it's on Friday. You can't do that, right? I was like,
I
yeah.
Can't.
I would. I don't mind. I don't mind it. I'm not looking. I have a completely different objective when I go in there. I know they're going to be childish. I know they're going to try and cut me off. I know they're going to make stupid arguments. I'm just like, I'm going to doggedly stay the course and basically point out what they're saying is.
Invite me on, Joe. I'll be childish for you. You can stay the course, and then I'll mudsling. You got 20 memberships, by the way. I
saw that. God bless you, Brian Oldenkamp. Came in here now with this is 40. I want to give this guy the horn here. Before I get on out of here, I should let you all know that that Brian Oldenkamp has brought in 20 new members of the following. God bless you, Brian, for that. Let's see who we brought in here. Following 20 people should express their gratitude to Brian Oldenkamp for bringing them into what is arguably the greatest assembly of individuals that is available online today, because you were brought into the following, which is a gathering of like-minded individuals who are seeking greater personal growth through community, unity, learning, and thinking. It's not at all a cult type of cult. And I am not at all the leader of the following. I'm just a host.
You don't want me to order those.
There's no mandatory jumpsuits. There's no Kool-Aid. There's no spaceships.
I've got all of this Kool-Aid at the cabin. At the murder cabin is all this Kool-Aid you sent me.
There's no throwing virgins into volcanoes, mild farm
then
work.
Why do I have a virgin in the back?
Sacrifices.
Why did you tell me to do that for?
There are no virgins. What are you talking about?
You said they're in the tiny house in the backyard right now. I'm feeding them. Joe.
And those people are welcome new followers. Welcome. Namaste. Summer Dog WAD King Bob 1421. But Coffee First 9642. American Philosophy 2701. Welcome to the following: Chicago Jan, Caitlin W, Patty Denise, Rachel Class 101, Cheesehead Lost on Bourbon Street 4329. Because just going with Cheesehead Lost on Bourbon Street was obviously taken before, and you had to add. You're the 4,329th one to come up with that name. Jerry Mars. Firebell 504, Bama Girl 21, looking for like a little Bama Girl there for you there, brother. Holly Hargis 2472 and KPT Times 9043, Chef Davis, Natalie Natalie P 239, Fencat, Hangry, Patriot Wheel, Michael D, and Peggy Sullivan 6615. Welcome to the following. God bless you and God bless Brian Oldenkamp, who is awesome. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You guys want to express, let people know where they can find you? We'll start with you. We'll start with you, Sin.
F.F.S podcast every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We cover culture war and a bunch of locals, guys that want to talk crap about me that I make fun of. So come by, say hi, just subscribe. That's all I ask you to do. If you don't like it, that doesn't matter. I'm trying to get monetized officially fully. So I need to get to 1,000. That'd be great. So
all right. And Branca Show. Tell us about the Branca Show.
First of all, follow that guy so he hits 1,000, so he can get monetized, so he can learn the wonders and the joys of being monetized occasionally by YouTube.
Links in the description.
Who am I? I'm a small town lawyer, mostly do use of force law, but my popularity today is political commentary and criticism. And that mostly offends people. So I'm not sure why I have a channel on YouTube, but you can find it at The Branca Show. BRAN, Nancy, CA. And I'm not a Nancy. I have 4 kids. So
there you go. I urge you guys, check out these 2 base co-hosts of mine tonight.
Yes,
thank you so much for stopping in here, Andrew, and you as well, Sin. You added something value too.
I do things. You
He
know,
does do things. I'm going to remind you all before I get on out of here that you were never meant to eat lab meat. That was not meant for you. It's meant for they, them. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it.
What if you already ate the bugs, though?
Good night, everyone. And as always, God